Yo, my name is Corey Sheppard, and my story is one that's going to take you around the world and back because you wouldn't believe it unless it was all documented by me and the media once they came around to my journey. Of course, we're going to start this story in high school. Crazy enough, I was QB1, and I was not the star of the team. To add on top of that, I went to a super small school, and I was nowhere close to where I needed to be academically. Let's start with the first day first, though. At my high school, no one had ever gone D1, and my mind was set on being the first to do it. I've been QB1 since the 10th grade, and by the time my senior year had come around, I tried my best to build my bag, and I can't lie, I wasn't where I wanted to be. But academically, I was the last in my class by a mile. I don't know what it is about school, but I was so uninterested in it. You could always find me in the back, asleep, not paying attention on my phone, anything besides doing the work. Not only that, but I was a terrible test taker. I mean, even when I tried to study and pay attention, when it came to the test, I would just freeze. No amount of studying, counseling, any type of tutoring, there was nothing that could be done to help me calm my nerves. They even put me in special ed to give me more time to take the test, and somehow I still failed. But enough of this school shit. It's too depressing. Let's move on to what I actually cared about, and that was my performance on the field. I will be coming in as a 1-star QB, and I was looking to make it 5 by the end of the season. No sweat. Let's go all the way back to my senior year in the first game of the season against Santa Maria, where I was all set to be the greatest quarterback out of this school. And my first time dropping back, I throw a pick. I really felt like a dummy, but coach was reassuring me and told me to get back out there and start slow. Don't try and throw big strikes down the field early. After completing my first pass of my senior year for 12 yards, I came back out on 3rd and 10. I waited for the play to develop, and I hit my guy Felix across the middle for a decent gain. But the excitement behind those two plays didn't last too long. As I dropped back again, the pocket closes on me. When I thought I threw the ball away, the refs called it a fumble instead. Here I was thinking that my senior year was going to set me apart from the rest, and I'm making more mistakes than they made. 2 turnovers, and we're still down 14-0 in my debut game. I knew I couldn't go out like this, and all I needed to do was calm down, read the defense, and get this team on board. And I get us started with a nice 38-yard scramble. The next play, the offensive line gives me more than enough time to make a read to Gio for a first down to keep this drive alive. It was looking like we were actually going to score as I connect for another first down, getting us to the 5-yard line. Unfortunately, after 2 failed run attempts, we can't punch it in on 3rd and goal, and we have to settle for 3. And when it rains, it pours as our defense gets a stop, and I come out and throw another duck for an interception, giving the ball right back. I was starting to feel sick to my stomach as we march right back out on the field. I see Gio wide open behind the defenders, and I throw a dot to gain us some big yards. Coach was finally drawing up some simple reads for me on 2nd and 1 as I connect with the running back for an easy first down. But then I do the dumbest thing I've done in my career as I leave the pocket, not really seeing anything downfield, and just when I think I made the right decision, I get tackled. I feel the ball leave my hands, and of course it's another turnover as I'm the sole reason we haven't reached the end zone. I couldn't blame anyone else for the way this game is going but me as I come out and literally throw another pick downfield. It was at this point I was thinking I should just give up because what the hell was I doing? I was literally throwing my career away, no pun intended, but I had to go back out there. Coach was still believing in me. He hadn't subbed me out, so I went back out there with my head up and made a play getting us the first down and getting out of bounds before I fumbled again. 3rd and 12, I break the pocket and find an open man to get the first down and stop the clock. We really wanted to score before halftime, so on 2nd and 3, empty backfield, I wait and find Rivero streaking down the field, getting us in the red zone. The very next play, coach trusts me to put it in the air, so close to the end zone. I throw a super scary pass to my guy Craig for my first passing touchdown of my senior year. Coming back from halftime on 3rd and 11, I was trying not to make any more mistakes as I take off for a nice 13-yard run, getting us the first. 2nd and 10, I find Gio across the middle as he holds onto the ball, but I put him in a position to get smacked. Unfortunately, after that, we go 3 and out. Back on the field, 3rd and inches, I break outside of the pocket to find a receiver wide open to get us a first down. This is one of those drives where we have to score and everyone knows it. 3rd and 8, I squeeze the ball in a super tight window to Gio to move the chains and keep the hope alive. 2nd and 1 from the 35-yard line, and by some miracle I look downfield and throw up a prayer to Gio, and he comes down with it, putting this game down by 1 point. Luckily for us, we tie the game up. Defense gets a stop and it's overtime. I know a pick would ruin everything, so I lock in as my first completion gets us a first down and some. The next play, I don't even look downfield. I just take right off down the middle and pick up some valuable yards. The play after that, our offensive line couldn't hold water as I get sacked, sending the field goal unit out on the field, and we win the game by 3. Crazy first game of the season, and to say I was humbled wasn't even the words. I had to get back in the lab because the bag I thought I had, I didn't, especially after being responsible for multiple turnovers. Next game against El Monte, and I was looking to bounce back immediately as I complete a pass on 3rd and 10 to Gio to keep the chains moving. On a 2nd and 10, I do what I was thinking was becoming my best attribute, which would be throwing picks. What a way to start this game. Luckily, the defense held El Monte to a field goal, and I go back out, and I try my best not to give the ball back. After that last completion, I'm back using my feet to get us a first down as I safely move out of bounds protecting the ball. On 2nd and 10, I wait in the pocket until the very last second and throw a strike for 14 yards. On 4th and 5, I take a big shot downfield, but underthrow it as that possibly could have been a tutty if I would have put some more on it. On the sideline, coach was giving me some game and was letting me know that Craig on the right side of the field was killing his man every play, and he was going to focus in on the weak side, and that's exactly what we did. I mean, I had to have targeted Craig the rest of the game unless someone was left completely wide open. As far as this drive goes, once the defense started watching Craig, middle of the field became back open as I dot Gio up for an easy first down. But after that, it was back to Craig as he catches the ball, putting us on the 2-yard line. Coach calls a toss play, and that puts us up and finally on the scoreboard in this game. Even though we just put a great drive together to score, don't get too excited as I come right back out on the field and throw another pick. The look on my coach's face said everything I needed to know, and when we went back on the field, it was back targeting Craig. Bro, I'm not sure how Craig was getting open so easily, but he was making me look like a superstar out there. We were literally just playing pitch and catch. On 3rd and 18, I had to look for my favorite target, and that was Gio, who managed to get wide open across midfield and get some extra yards. Nothing came out of that drive, and what happened next had to be one of my most embarrassing moments in QB history as the pocket collapses and I find myself face first in the end zone, giving El Monte a safety. Sitting on the sideline, I'm thinking that I've got to be the worst QB in QB history. Coming back onto the field, I'm finding Gio again for a big 33-yard gain. I'm looking for Gio again on the next play as I put the ball too close to the sideline, but he comes down with it somehow, some way. But me being too excited from 2 simple completions, I go for the home run and end up striking out as I give the ball back to El Monte yet again. Huge shout out to the defense for not giving up a tutty. Coach has been yelling at me to get the ball to Craig, and that's all the plays he drew up for this drive. Like, I know my reads are ass right now, but me focusing on one player is getting me killed in the backfield. But coach doesn't care about that as he draws up yet another play designed for Craig. I drop back thinking that he's open, and as soon as I throw it, the DB steps in and picks it. I'm super frustrated at this point because now I'm being bitched at for throwing a pick and not getting Craig the ball. And when you know it, we're back on the field throwing it to Craig. Next play, I go against coach's direction and find an open man downfield for a 21-yard gain. 3rd and 8, I ignore coach again, this time waiting for my running back, and I toss it to him for another first down. 3rd and 19, I'm listening to coach, looking for Craig to get open, and instead of throwing the ball away, I just toss it up on a prayer, and you guessed it. Pick. We just lost our first game of the season, and I know it's all my fault. Losing all these games are starting to weigh on me, bro. I can't sleep. I'm already not doing well in school, and with the pressure I have on me now, I'm falling apart. And it's showing as I come out to start the game throwing another pick. I'm being talked about around town as going down as one of the worst QBs the state has ever seen. I had to lock in and not get nervous like I do when it's time to do classwork. I mean, I couldn't be a failure at everything I did. I couldn't be trash on the field, bro. So on 1st and 10, I'm finding Gio wide open to move the chains. The next play, I find Gio again sitting wide open in the weak part of the zone, picking up another first down. 2nd and 10, coach calls for the dump down to the running back, and we pick up another 10 yards. I drop back again on 2nd down, and I find Chris over the middle to get us down to the scoring position, and I don't want to leave empty-handed, so the next play, see my tight end cut across the field, and I throw a dart before he gets smacked for a touchdown. I'm starting to feel a little groove as we're back on the field, and I throw another strike to the running back. he gets some extra yards to keep the chains moving. Next play, I find Craig open exactly 10 yards ahead for another first down. Now 3rd and 12, after some terrible runs from the running back, I'm looking downfield and my guy Gio shakes off 2 defenders to catch a steamer to not only get us a first down, but put us back in scoring position. 2nd and goal, coach calls Gio's number and somehow he continues to get open as I toss him an easy one for another scoring touchdown. But I just can't shake the interceptions as I try to go for the touchdown on 2nd and 8. I throw into double coverage. Dumb play on my part. It was totally unnecessary. Not going to lie though, I had one more pick after that and we honestly couldn't move the ball after those 2 scores. Good news was that we did win the game. Defense pitched a shutout and I'm thankful they did because it could have been a lot worse. Going into our next game, I had already started to develop a nickname around town. And I wish it was one of those names that didn't stick, but it was the king of turnovers. I averaged at least 3 turnovers a game, whether it be pick or fumble. Either way, I was giving the ball back to the defense more than I would have liked to. I mean, it wasn't all bad, but it wasn't all good either because the season was coming to a close sooner than later, and I was still a 1-star QB, and the offers weren't coming in the way I had hoped they would in the beginning of the season. And that was just something I had to deal with. Don't get me wrong, I had some offers, it just wasn't as much as everyone else. And speaking of picks, I just threw another one after completing some great passes trying to get us downfield. I don't know, bro. Sometimes I do feel like I'm a great QB. I'm making the right reads. I'm throwing dots, completing passes that probably shouldn't be completed, and then I throw it all away over one bad decision. It was clear as day that I needed to work on my decision-making ability and throwing the ball away under pressure. I knew I needed to work on things, especially if I wanted to go to the next level with this football thing. I just needed to take it one play at a time. 1st and 10 from the 25-yard line, I drop back and find Craig, who breaks some tackles to turn this into a 17-yard reception. We end up getting 3 points out of that drive, and we're back on the field looking to score a touchdown as I drop back, throw a deep 34-yard bomb. On 3rd and 8, I'm scanning the field for an open receiver, and I find Gio down by the goal line. He makes an incredible catch, setting us up for the score. Next play after that, the running back walks into the end zone, giving us our first touchdown of the night. Defense gives up a touchdown, and I'm back on the field ready to score the ball. Tunnel vision isn't the word here as I target Gio yet again for a 30-yard reception. 2nd and 19, I can't lie, I'm looking for Gio again as he comes through in a major way, and we've just playing pitch and catch for another massive 26-yard reception. 8 seconds left in the 4th, and I wasn't done. I wanted to win this game. I take my time in the pocket and deliver a strike, this time to Narian for a 32-yard reception, getting us all the way to the 1-yard line. Coach calls a timeout. With 1 second left, we kick the field goal for the last second win. Bro, I was super excited to be able to lead my team down the field for the win so late in the game. I was finally feeling as if I was an okay QB. Now, after last game, I was feeling myself a little. Now, don't forget, I threw at least 3 picks a game, so don't let these highlights fool you. I was just better than last game, and that's all I could ask of myself. On 3rd and 5, though, we find ourselves in scoring position, and I was trying to get it as I work outside of the pocket and throw a dot to our 2nd-string running back, Big Bill, for a tutty. Defense gave up a field goal, but we got a field goal back as we come back out, throwing it across my body, downfield, picking up some big yards. 2nd and 18, I take my time in the pocket and wait for Gio to get behind the defense as he makes an incredible catch downfield to compensate for me overthrowing him. 2nd and 4, you should already know, I'm looking for Gio, this time midfield, wide open for a 35-yard touchdown. We win the game, and I finally get player of the game honors, going 10 for 18, 180 yards, and 2 touchdowns. My level of play was finally picking up to match the interceptions I was throwing, and what better time to start winning games than towards the end of the season. I start this next game off against Stanton, throwing a 26-yard reception. When you find a receiver that knows how to get open fast, it makes your job so much easier, and I can only be talking about one guy, and that was Gio, as he catches another one from me, this time for 25 yards. Coach has started to lean on the run game a lot more at this point in the season, and we would often find ourselves in 4th and 6th spots like this more than we like, but this time I find the smallest window possible to my partner Hussein for a 22-yard touchdown. Defense didn't get a stop and we couldn't make the extra point, so here we are back on the field looking to go back up on the scoreboard before halftime. The team is looking to me to provide us with a score and the momentum push we need to go into halftime, and I'm all in. On 1st and 10 from the 30-yard line, coach is calling adjustments, and I drop back, survey the field, and I see Michael wide open down the field, and I throw a great pass for the touchdown, which would actually be the game-winning touchdown as neither defense was giving an inch after halftime, and that's another win on the season for us, and honestly me. The reason last game meant so much was because going into the last game of the season with a win on your back was going to make this next game against Palm Springs a breeze, as I throw a crazy 34-yard dot to Michael late in the half. This game had to be one of my best games in the regular season because I was so patient in the pocket, waiting for plays to develop. I was looking like I was finally getting this QB thing down, especially when I'm able to throw to Gio and watch him make plays as we score right before halftime. We come back out on the field and I'm looking like a pro as I manage the clock, waiting for my receivers to get to the passing windows I need them to, dotting up Gio for 27 yards. I felt like the man. 4th and 16. Coach calls an empty backfield, sending all my guys downfield, and to my surprise, Michael was wide open up the seams, and I throw a steamer to get us down to the 4-yard line. 3rd and goal. Coach wants me to put it in the air, and I throw a super dot to Craig for another touchdown. Defense puts up another shutout, and that's how I got my 2nd star. I was a 2-star QB heading into the playoffs, where I was realistically hoping to come out a 3-star when it was all said and done. So at this point in time, I wasn't heavily recruited, like I said. I had 4 schools interested in offering me a scholarship. I had 2 offers that wanted me to start day 1, and the other 2 wanted me to take a back seat and learn some more. Either way, I was super excited to visit these schools later in the school year, but right now I needed to focus on the playoff run. Unfortunately, none of that was going to happen for me. I had been so caught up in the football season and overcoming my struggles on the field, I had forgotten about my biggest struggle, and that was in the classroom. Principal had called me into his office, and by now I'm sure you all know what was said. Long story short, I was ineligible for the playoffs because of my grades. My heart was broken. To be honest, I was over this school shit, so I dropped out. I know looking back on it is crazy, but y'all gotta realize all that was going on during playoffs, and to find out I would miss playoffs, I was beyond pissed. And there was nothing anybody could say or do to make me go back. To me, at that time, it was pointless. All my hope was gone. 6 months later, and I've been sitting in the house doing nothing, and my mama was about tired of me. I was eating up all the food. I ain't have a job because I ain't have a GED. It was getting bad. So she did what any caring mother would do, and she told me I had 5 months to get my life together or she was going to kick me out. So at that moment, I had a decision to make. Either I was going to roll back over on that sofa and be a bum on my life, or I was going to get up and do something with my life. First thing first, I had to get my GED. So I went out, got the GED for dummies, and studied as much as I could for the next 3 months. I stayed up long nights making sure I knew that material, and I could see my mama was proud of me. The idea of playing football was long gone, and I had to accept my fate. The next month, I went back up to the high school and I took the test. As nervous as I was, I did my best. Fast forward 3 weeks later, I got the results, and when you know it, I passed. I mean, it was barely passing, but I passed nonetheless. Now with my GED in hand, I didn't know what to do next. My mama gave me the great idea to join the Army, and without a thought, I signed up. Went to boot camp, and I was locked in for the next 4 years, making good money. I had no cares in the world, bro. I got 3 square meals. I was in shape, and I had the option of leaving after 4 or stay in and keep living good. Then somehow, some of the guys on base saw my football highlights, and they were thinking I should give it another chance. I mean, I wasn't really thinking about football anymore, nor had I worked on my game, none of that. I brushed off the idea, but it was something lingering in the back of my mind. Now let's fast forward my 4-year service, and my Army contract was up. I was back home visiting my mom, and she was asking me what I was going to do next, and I honestly didn't have an answer for her. It's either I could re-sign with the Army or I could find my way on my own. I went back down to my old high school to see my old head coach, and speaking with him, throwing the football around got me missing the sport a little bit. It had been 4 years since I pushed the pain away of not being able to be the first to go D1 from the school, and all those emotions started rushing back in, and that's when everything took off for me. He said my old QB coach had gotten a job at a college a few states over, and he would reach out on my behalf to see if they had a spot open. I laughed it off, but coach was serious because he was on the phone, and just like that, I got an invite to walk on tryouts. Now, kind of getting ahead of ourselves because according to NCAA rules, there would be some extra steps for me, but with that good old GI Bill, I was able to go to school for free while I gave this thing a shot. And needless to say, I had a lot of work to do, but just knowing I would have a chance was all the motivation I needed. It was time to lock back in. This was it. I can officially say I'm a walk-on QB at the University of New Mexico. My old QB coach from high school had gotten a spot here about 2 years ago and was making some progress with the talent he got in, but he was looking to get some more talent in the door as soon as possible. You know, job security and stuff like that. I had a meeting with him and coach before everything got into motion, and this was straight to the point from what I could tell. The head coach came out immediately letting me know that just because I knew the QB coach didn't mean I should expect any kind of special treatment. I was a walk-on and everybody has to earn their spot on the team. Nothing was given. He went on about how this is currently the worst team in the entire D1 level and how he was in the business of winning games and anything worth having is worth fighting for, or some stuff like that. I can't lie, I was a little caught up in the moment because let's be real, I'm 4 years removed from this sport, and although this was a dream I had in high school, I'm just excited to be here. After I came back from daydreaming in the meeting, my QB coach was talking about what my job would be from here on out, or until I could prove I deserved a spot above the other guys. Long story short, my job was to learn the plays of the upcoming teams and test out that with the first string defense. Coach wanted me to give it my all and make sure that even though I was technically on the scout team as a walk-on, there was still room on the field to play. So I took that for what it was and immediately got to work. After all, I had to knock off some dust that had been lingering these 4 years. Fast forward to spring practice, and here I was in the training facility in a college football uniform playing ball. Bro, luckily I had time before this to test my arm, get some time in with the coach before we officially started, and I'm not gonna lie, it was like riding a bike. Although I hadn't played like this in years, I quickly found my way around the pocket like I used to, or should I say outside of the pocket. Listen, this scout team offensive line was garbage, and I found myself on almost every play getting outside of the pocket before the play broke up. But I was finding some nice targets, and I was doing what I needed to do out there on the field, and I honestly felt as if the coaches were pleased. Now, my job low-key was to expose the first team defense with these offensive schemes, and from all the yelling that was coming from the defensive end, I think I was doing my job to perfection. Now, this went on for weeks that felt like an eternity, and to my surprise, I started to find myself very involved with the team. Like, I actually started to care if we won games or not. Watching the team take L's while I'm sitting at home, like literally watching the defense get dusted time and time again after I got them prepared, was really starting to get on my nerve. Bro, imagine sitting there watching the first team defense get exposed on a play that you literally ran over and over again at practice. Is so humiliating. And like I said, I started to find myself upset more and more as all I could do as a walk-on was sit back and watch the team take L after L. Now, some interesting things were going on behind the scenes that I can't fail to mention. First thing, which I already mentioned, was we were taking a lot of losses. And the whole time at practice, I'm putting up numbers, constantly exposing the defense. Now, here's something that shocked me, which was that although I was a walk-on, I found my way to the second string position one practice because the goofy in front of me was mouthing off to the coach, and in some weird power struggle, he got demoted to my position, which meant that next game, I was going to be on the field holding extra point kicks. But that also meant on the chance that we would get blown out, I would be next up to play, or if the QB got hurt, it would be on me. Do I even need to say how crazy and nervous this shit was? As we're standing here talking with the coach and he's telling me this, I'm just lost because, bro, what the fuck? Nevertheless, I'm an Army man and this is what I was built for. No surprise attacks, and before I know it, it was game day. My first time out on the field, and we're coming into this game 1-5. And here I am out on the field holding extra points, and to be fair, I couldn't be more happier. So boom, QB1 has been playing trash all game, and here I am taking my first snap for this New Mexico team. Now I come in on 3rd and 7. Coach called a QB keeper for me, and I didn't know what happened after that. I kind of blacked out, but I do know we did not get that first down. Coach calls the kicker team, which is my cue, and there we go. I made it out on the field. Apparently some words were exchanged on the sideline between coach and QB1. On 3rd and 6, I drop back and see what I thought was a wide open man, and the play is immediately broken up. But coach wants me to run it back, and I'm shocked. I was ready for the extra point. So on 4th down, I drop back again. I tap back into how I was playing during practice, turn on the jets, and when you know it, I'm scoring my first collegiate touchdown. What the f did I just do? I didn't even celebrate for real because everything just kind of happened so fast. Speaking of things happening so fast, I'm back on the field after the defense gets a nice stop. I'm dropping back, find some time in the pocket, and with all my strength, I throw a bomb downfield, and I'm thinking, oh shit, I underthrew the hell out of the ball. Luckily, my guy Luke doesn't make me look like a complete idiot and comes back for the ball, giving me my first big gain in the air. With my confidence boosted, my luck doesn't run out there as I'm surveying the field, scrambling to my left, finding Andrew this time, who makes a crazy catch at the 1-yard line, giving me another huge gain in the air. And because they both seem like good throws, I move out of the pocket to my right and see the DB cheat up, and I throw a dot to my tight end for my first passing touchdown of my college career. Between you and I was just happy I didn't turn the ball over. But this was a big loss for the team yet again, but you could feel in the air that the coach's mind was turning, and what he was thinking had me shook. Cause that next practice, I was up for promotion. And no, it wasn't from the 3rd string spot, cause coach said I took 2nd string the previous game. This was for the number 1 spot on the team. Yeah, bro, I was up for QB1. Coach decided to tell us all before the practice that what was about to happen today should be a warning to anyone on the team. That if your attitude is wrong, or you come in thinking that your spot can't be taken and you underperform, your spot could get taken by a walk-on. Not only that, but your scholarship would get taken by a walk-on. Bro, when I tell you I felt everybody on that field looking dead at me like I was the one who did something wrong, and I'm just like, yo, all I did was my job. I didn't set out to steal nobody's spot, but you know what? Since y'all upset with me, let me give y'all something to really be upset about. And I did it. I took QB1 from someone who thought they deserved it and didn't fight to keep it. I learned a valuable lesson today, and it was exactly what the coach told me in our first meeting. Anything worth having is worth fighting for, or something like that. I wasn't really paying attention. Either way, from that point on, I was QB1. All that was cool or whatever, but what I didn't know was how trash this offensive line really was. I'm not trying to make any excuses. I'm just trying to let y'all know how I became the player and decision maker I am today. But my first time out as a starter for this team, I'm already starting off 0 for 1 as I have to scramble and throw the ball away. On 1st and 10, instead of looking downfield, I'll use my legs to scramble, and after a 12-yard gain, I slide down. I'm not trying to go out the way I did in high school. Unfortunately, we go 3 and out on this possession, and on 2nd and 10, down 6, Washington goes flying down the field, and I air one out, and it was super underthrown, but he slows down and catches the ball for a crazy 55-yard gain. Trying not to get too excited, coach calls a couple of run plays, and we have a 3rd and 8 situation. I'm rolling out, looking at my options, but everyone is covered, so I see some green in front of me, and I take off. I feel my feet get tied up, and I'm down right on the 1-yard line. Nah, I can't have that, so I tell the team it's a hurry up and run the same play again. This time I roll out to my left, and it's a tutty. My 2nd rushing touchdown of the year, and this time I soak it all in and turn up a little bit. Now, y'all know damn well coach was not happy about me taking over and calling a hurry up because the trust wasn't there yet. But to be fair, I took the punishment because I was caught up in a moment. I had to settle down and realize this wasn't my team, at least not yet. I also had to realize that if I would have turned the ball over or not scored, then I would have been a bad guy in that situation. So all risks weren't worth the chance. Either way, I was looking like the man out on the field. And on the 41-yard line, coach calls a dream play for me as I buy some time in the backfield. I throw another bomb to my receiver who has a step on 2 defenders, and I put it only where he can get it for a passing touchdown, putting us down 1 in this close game. I'm back on the field and defense gives up 3, and I'm trying my best not to lose my debut game. So I'm putting it all on the line on 2nd and 14, moving around. I throw up another bomb and to everyone's surprise, our player comes down with the ball for a nice gain of yards. This next play has haunted me for years because here I am thinking I'm about to be the hero of this game as I roll to my left, and for a second I see my receiver getting open and I toss it up, but before you know it, the defender has the ball and our comeback hopes are shattered, and San Diego State scores off of that turnover. I'm playing hero ball lost us the game, but I didn't want to go out without giving it another shot. I roll back out to my left. This time I see my guy DJ wide open down the field, and I put enough on it to get it to him in stride, and he was finally taken down after another 55-yard gain. First and goal, coach wants me to throw it again, but this time I'm not even looking to pass as I scramble in for a quick touchdown. And to think, I made the ending of this game so complicated, especially after scoring in 2 plays. I was hurt. Not only that, but the opposite team's QB got player of the game, and I'm not gonna hold y'all. Along with winning a game, I definitely wanted to be a player of the game. Those were my only 2 goals this season, but I did throw for 233 passing yards, 1 touchdown, and I had 54 rushing and 1 touchdown on the ground. Our next game was against Air Force, and I don't have to mention this, but as an Army man, I wanted to win this bad. Gaining 14 yards on the first play was a statement for me personally, and it didn't stop there as I scrambled again for another first down. This time I slide for safety. The next play was an option play, which would become my favorite. This time I take it right up the hash marks for a 14-yard gain, and I'm locked in. Next play, Air Force sends the blitz, and I buy enough time to dump it down, but Luke had more plans as he gets us another first down. Now, unfortunately, coach trusted our running back a little bit too much for the rest of the drive, and we end up settling for 3 points. But I wasn't fazed by it as we come right back out on the field, picking it up from where I left off as coach calls another option play, and I'm scoring for real, picking up 10 yards. 3rd and 4, I'm moving outside the pocket, seeing Luke open down the field. I overthrow it slightly, but Luke makes a spectacular catch for 23 yards. 3rd and 8, further down the field, coach wants a pass, and I'm not looking as I use my legs to get us a first down and a little bit more. 3rd and 5, coach wants a quick dump down for the first, and I'm trying to sit in the pocket as long as I can, but I'm scrambling yet again, barely picking up the first down. But coach decides to give the ball to the running back who walks into the end zone, putting us up by 2 for the moment. Defense does what they need to do, and we're back on the field, but not for long as I roll out right, waiting for the play to develop, and I throw a dot to Luke who barely crosses the end zone line for another touchdown. Defense definitely gave up the booty as we're only up by 3. I'm being a playmaker yet again, rolling out, trying to find someone as I throw in a super tight window to my dude Caden for 16 yards. Started this 4th, and I'm looking to put some more space in between these scores as the defense is running shut down. Man, defense, I have nothing but field and time in front of me as I go down after gaining 20 yards. Now here we go again, in a position where I know we need to score. We could be kicking a field goal, but here I am rolling out. Thought I had someone. Instead, it's a turnover on downs. And of course, the defense gave it up and not only allowed Air Force to score, but take the rest of the game clock with it. We take the L, and I feel as if this one hurt me more than anyone else out there. I only threw for 99 yards, but I rushed for 177. But don't worry, I won't forget this one. Bruh, we are 1-8 on the season, and I'm still looking for my first win as a starting QB, and I'm hoping it's this one. We've had some mistakes from the coaching unit as well as the team, so I'm not pointing no fingers. I just want to win. So I know I need to go out and do whatever it takes to make this happen. 3rd and 6, I'm rolling out and hitting what is now my favorite target, Luke, for a quick first down to keep this drive going. 2nd and 9, the play coach drew up was a nice one, but no one could get open, so I did what I do best and scrambled for the first down instead. 2nd and 1, no one gets open yet again, and I'm more than happy to get this first down. Would have felt better to get the tutty, but I'm not picky. But on 2nd and goal, coach calls a play sending all the receivers to the back of the end zone. I'm confused, but I'm no dummy. I immediately take off towards the end zone and score, breaking the seal off the game. Defense gets a stop, and we're back out on the field, and on 3rd and 21, I kind of slip back into my high school ways as I throw an idiot bomb down the field, and what should have been picked off turns into a huge gain. But that very next play, I do it again. This time, the defense makes me pay as the pass is picked off on the 1-yard line. Bruh, one thing I can't do is go back to my high school days, especially seeing as how the coach is giving me a chance to be great. So coming back from halftime, I knew I needed to make something shake, and on 3rd and 4, I roll out, and there he was. And I put the ball on the money to Andrew for a 48-yard pickup. From the 15-yard line, coach calls a play action, but the defense is sticking to everybody, which means I have plenty of space as I take off and actually score another touchdown, putting us up a score. Fourth quarter and we're up a touchdown. Now, we've been running true clock up until this point, and I know putting more points on the scoreboard would solidify this game. So on 3rd and 3, I'm not trusting my arm on this one. I don't even look at the sideline. I put the team back on the line, running the same play, and I do the exact same thing again. I immediately take off, and this time I'm in the end zone for a score. I couldn't believe it. I trusted my gut, and it paid off again. I had just iced the game for us in that moment, and I accomplished my goal for the season. I led my team to a dub, and I won player of the game with 137 yards passing and 190 yards on the ground with 3 total touchdowns. Last 2 games of the regular season, and I'm all in on personal victories at this point. With a 2-8 record, I knew nothing was happening in the postseason. At this point, all I could do was show why I should remain QB1 at this school, and the only way to truly do that was to perform like last game and win. So on 1st and 10, I found my tight end for a 31-yard gain, getting us close to the end zone. I called a hurry up because the defense definitely exposed themselves on that play, and I found the same target as we finally scored late in the first quarter. Defense gets us a stop on a 1st and 10. I'm back out with that tunnel vision, scrambling for 9 yards. Next play was a tragedy of a miracle as my guy Caden explodes past the defense, but I slightly overthrow him as he makes a play on the ball but couldn't keep hold of it. We punt the ball off. Fresno puts up a tutty, and we're back on the field as I dot up Luke for a 28-yard reception. Coach calls an option play, and I keep it as I scoot for 21 yards, hopefully ending this drive with a touchdown. 2nd and 4, I'm looking out, and I'm not trusting my arm in this raid, so I keep it on the ground for an 11-yard gain. Bars. Another option call on the 5-yard line, and the defense goes for the handoff as I walk into the end zone, potentially tying this game up. Defense gives up a touchdown, and even worse, we missed the extra point. So now we need a score and 2 points to tie the game back up. So I'm coming out, making plays with my legs, and getting out of bounds to stop the clock from running out on us. 2nd and 11, I'm looking up the field trying to get this ball moving. Luckily, I find DJ throwing across my body, getting us a 1st down and some. 2nd and 10, coach calls the option, and I'm reading the defense to perfection as I fight my way into the end zone. Now, we just need 2 to tie the game up, and unfortunately, coach calls a run play for the running back, and he gets stopped short. Defense gets a major stop with about 1 minute left on the clock, and I get in my playmaking bag as I'm seeing a lot of field in front of me, but I'm gonna go on slide after picking up about 30. It's 4th and inches, and coach wants a Hail Mary pass, and I'm thinking field goal position. So as soon as I receive the snap, I go right up the gut, making sure I pick up the first, and I go down. Looks like coach has some ego thing going on and does not send out the field goal unit. Or maybe it was just too far for our kicker, but I throw one up, and surprisingly, one of our guys comes down with it, but it just wasn't enough time. We end up taking another L on the season, and I'm starting to see we just don't have a great 4th quarter comeback scheme, and we desperately need one. So it's the last game of the season against Boise State, and y'all already know the mission, and it's quite simple. Do more than enough to keep my spot so I can get a real shot at a full season on this team. Very next play, coach calls the option, and I'm finding a lot of blue field as I rush for 15 yards. It doesn't stop there as coach calls a passing play, but this Boise State secondary is strapped in, so I turn on the Jets and score the first points for either team late in the first half. Now, I don't know if it was because this was the last game of the season or not, but the defense was locked in as well. We get great field position as I rush for 8 yards. Starting to see the option go crazy on 3rd and 2, I keep the ball for another 8 yards and a 1st down. The very next play, I'm rolling out to my right, and before I scramble off, I see Andrew wide open in the middle of the field before he gets smacked for the 1st down. 3 terrible play calls from the coach. And finally, we run the undefeated option play as I stumble across the end zone line for a tutty. Now fast forward to the 4th quarter, defense gave up some points, but we still have the lead. Now in the past games, the 4th quarter has been our kryptonite, and I wasn't looking to keep that trend going. I'm really putting my body on the line for this one, and on 3rd and 2, I drop all the way back and throw up a prayer to my boy Luke, who comes down with it for another first. 2nd and 6, I'm looking downfield, no one is open, and there's some room, and I take off for 16 yards, and the boys are hyped up. From the 8-yard line, I'm rolling out to my left, and this time I find Caden, and he stops short of scoring a tutty. And when you know it, the run play finally works out for us as our running back bounces to the outside to put our lead a little further than before. And that's how we won our 3rd game of the season and how we ended our season. I know only 3 wins, that's crazy, but I win player of the game again with a horrible 51 yards in the air and 179 on the ground with 2 total touchdowns. Now again, I know we only won 3 games, and I know I didn't have the greatest stats, but out of the 5 games I played and started, I won us 2. And both games we won, I won player of the game as well. Now again, take it easy on me, because out of those 5 games, I threw for 769 yards and rushed for 729. Let's keep it a bean. If I could play the full season, no one could mess with me. And if we could somehow come up with wins as well, bruh, I don't even know what to say, because thinking about all of this was making me super excited to get the next season started right now. But this would only work if I got that starting position. So needless to say, I was getting back in the lab to get to work as quickly as possible. My sophomore year was about to be a movie. Okay, so boom, I finally get a real chance to show who I am out on this field, and to say I was excited would be an understatement, because who would have thought I would be here, especially how everything started. It's funny because the way I'm getting this new role in college is the same way I got the role in high school. Not too much talent, I'm the only one who really knows the plays, and I pretty much stay to myself on campus. I really just be chilling in my dorm. This was about to be a nice little season for me, but I was not expecting how wild it was going to be really. Let's get right into it though. First game of the season, here I am starting. We pick up in the game on 2nd and 11. Coach calls a curl route for my guy, Caden, who picks up the first and a little more. The very next play is actually about to set the tone for how my season was going to go here in New Mexico. Quarterback keeper, and the line opens a hole wide enough for me to squeeze through, and I'm out of there for 55 yards and my first touchdown on the ground for the season. Not gonna hold you, I was super gassed and motivated by the opening drive for us. This was only just the beginning. Defense did what they could, and I'm back out on the field, 3rd and 13. Coach looking to me to make something shake as I buy some time. Lob went up to my running back, who comes down with it in stride for a 35-yard reception. 4th and 4 from the 19-yard line. I'm looking to keep the drive alive as I just take off for what we need before I get smacked. I know I need to start sliding, but we worked our way closer to the end zone, and on 3rd and 1, Coach sends everyone to the back of the end zone, and I walk in, putting us up a score. Coach was gambling on my playmaking ability, and I'm just glad I'm not turning the ball over. Now fast forward to the 3rd quarter, and the game is tied up, and here we are again, 3rd and 14. Coach is looking to me to make a miracle play as I scramble outright, throw across my body, and Luke makes a spectacular catch for 32 yards. Unfortunately, we leave with no points. Our defense gives up 3, and it's make or break time as the coach is looking to me to march down the field and either tie this game up or get us the lead. So I do what I know how to do best, and that's use my leg. This is just one of those high pressure situations where I don't know whether to trust what I'm seeing and pass it or keep it on the ground for a sure gain. But I'm noticing the more I scramble, the less room the defense has for mistakes, because they have to follow me and the receivers, which can't be done 100% of the time. So I'm starting to take advantage of my situation. We're getting so close to scoring, I can taste it. And on this play, I'm looking to my left, not really seeing anything, and I barely get this first down to keep our hopes alive. Then the very next play haunts me to this day because Coach calls the option play. I'm thinking keeping it, but this Michigan State defense somehow plays the best defense of their lives. As I pitch it, the ball gets deflected, and that's the game. We lose on my turnover after I had been playing so well. It all came down to me, and I blew it. Like I said, that game haunts me terribly, but one thing I learned in the Army and life in general is every L is a lesson. We definitely had to grow from this L. Game 2 against Minnesota, and I've learned a thing or two from last week's L. Main thing I learned is get this win by any means necessary, and I'm putting that on display as I start our drive off with a 21-yard rush. Next play, Coach calls an option play, and it's a keeper as I make the right reads to get us a first and some. 3rd and 4, I break out and find Caden on a tight pass close to the sideline for 15. After 2 trash rushing calls from the coach, he finally trusts me with the ball from the 9-yard line as I find my way into the end zone, breaking the seal off this game. Defense gives up a score, and we're back out on the field. And one thing I learned from last game was the same trust coach has in me, I need to have in myself. When I see something or the defense is not giving me my looks, I gotta trust that I'm going to do the right thing. And that comes with a lot of maturity, not only within myself, but in my game as well. And to be fair, that can only come with reps and experience. Now, after that crazy 52-yard game on the ground, I break back out to my right this time and pick up 12 more yards. I'm starting to feel that confidence in myself on the next play, though. I decided to stay in the pocket and throw a steamer to my guy Everett for a 25-yard touchdown. That one was for all the critics who might think all I do is scramble. I definitely can place the ball if I need to. Back on the field, and in my opinion, defense holds us down, only giving up 3. And on 3rd and 5, I'm actually overlooking Caden for a quick 17-yard pickup. On 3rd and 10, defense sends a blitz, which means I'm taking off scrambling for 26 yards and getting out of bounds just in case I drop the ball. 1st and 10, right after that, my guy Jace gets open and I sit in the pocket until the last second before I get drilled. Luckily, Jace gets us down to the 1-yard line where coach calls the option play and I sneak right in for the tutty. Huge shout out to the defense because we get the ball back on the 3-yard line where you know it's a cakewalk right back into the end zone, putting us up by 10 late in this 3rd quarter. And that's how we won our first game of the season. I'm not going to lie, I was showing moments of greatness and all I wanted to do was build off of that performance and try to string together more great wins like that. I won player of the game with 103 passing yards and 177 yards on the ground with 4 total touchdowns. This next game against Coastal Carolina was a very slow game for me. Whatever I just said about stringing great wins together went right out the window for this week. Shout out to the kicking team for getting us on the board late in the first half. Definitely need to bounce back on 3rd and 7 right before half. The playmaker in me comes to life finally as I see Caden streaking down the field. I throw one deep and he makes a spectacular catch again, gaining 47 yards on that play. And it's looking like we could put some more points on the board before half. On 2nd and 7, I scramble out left and get as close to the end zone before I get smacked out of bounds. From there, coach calls the option and you know I keeps it and I walk right into the end zone for another score. And just like that, we're down 4, but the momentum was already on our side as we come back from half looking to put more points on the board. I throw a shot to Luke for 24 yards to get us started. And just like that, we're in the red zone. Coach calls a keeper on the 9-yard line and I find the right gaps to score another touchdown, letting Coastal Carolina know we were done playing games with them. And Coastal Carolina was standing on that as well because they answered right back with a score of their own. And I wasn't looking to lose this game, so on 2nd and 6, I scramble and throw a deep ball to Luke, who makes another great catch for a huge pickup. 2nd and goal, coach calls a play action, and although I see a potential target, he gives up on the play, so I keep it and score what would be the game-winning tutty. Second win of the season, and it was a close one due to the fact that we came out sluggish. We're gonna have to figure this out sooner or later as we play better and better competition. Speaking of better competition, this was not it. This was one of those games where we expected to win, and on 3rd and 1, what was supposed to be a quick play escalated into one of the biggest rushes I had all season. Now fast forward to the 3rd quarter and we're losing. Don't ask me how, but I'll be damned if we lose to a team that hasn't won a game yet. So I get on my high horse and get to running. Second rushing touchdown goes for 23 yards and I'm nowhere close to being done. "20 seconds left in the 3rd and coach calls the option. Defensive player overcommits and I'm going for 12 yards. Right back at it. Next play. It's an outright keeper and you know I'm back in the end zone. Let's keep it going though. 3 minutes left in the game, coach calls another option and I keep it, find my way 20 yards later back into the end zone. On 3rd and 3, coach calls a passing play, but I'm so locked into running at this point, I'm not even looking downfield, turning in another rushing touchdown, this time for 14 yards. And to be honest, although I had a great game, that was an embarrassing win to say the least. We should have never been down in this game, period. This should have been a beating being handed out by us. It is what it is though. I'm not going to complain. We just need to get it together moving forward. Now this next game against San Diego State was what would become my breakout performance as I'm opening the game with an insane 49-yard scramble, letting State know that I was officially in my coming out party. Pause. No diddy. On 3rd and 1, coach gave me a break and the running back walks into the end zone, putting us on the board officially. Defense gets a stop and we're back on the field running one of my favorite plays. The ball was hella underthrown, but my guy Luke comes down with it and a gain of 42 yards. Very next play, I'm getting shifty again as I roll out to my left, avoiding a huge loss. Instead, I find some room and scramble for 20 yards. Next play, coach calls the option. I keep it and we're back on the scoreboard, putting us up 2 scores. San Diego State scores, but we have an opportunity to put more points on the board before halftime. With 35 seconds left, I move out to my left and find Everett for a 40-yard gain. Hurrying back up to the line, we run the same play, and San Diego doesn't make the adjustments, and this time I hit Everett, and he fights for the score, putting us up 2 scores before half. Back out on the field late in the third, we're looking to dominate. I decide not to hit the wide open man and use him as a blocker instead. As I'm weaving through traffic, I finally get down after gaining 40 yards. Start of the fourth, we're knocking on the door to score, and I move left, buy some time, and throw a dot to Luke for another score. That was a huge win and a huge game for me, passing for 183 yards and rushing for 189 yards with 3 total touchdowns. Now, this UNLV game, things get a little crazy because this is one of those teams we're expected to beat, but we definitely were struggling earlier on. But on this play, I found my tight end, Austin, for 17 yards. Next play, I move out to my left and I see a gap in the defense. But Luke comes up from what would have been a turnover and locks in a 44-yard pickup. Y'all know what's next. Option play, 6 yards out. They go for the running back. I keep it and score. Now, I expected the defense to shut down any type of motion UNLV might have had going on, but here we are, tied game. 1st and 10 from the 40-yard line. I'm letting the play develop, moving out right. I see Austin has the lead on his man, so I give him the ball for 26 yards. From the 15, coach calls the triple option, and my options are guarded, so I do what I do best and get into the end zone for another score. Defense gets a stop, and I'm back in my zone as I wait to the last minute and throw another pass to Austin for big yards. 3rd and 4, I see Caden open on a quick release for 8 yards, keeping the drive alive. Next play, I'm not seeing anything right away, so I use my legs to get us another 1st down. Now on 4th and 3, I'm letting coach know I got us. I'm buying some time, waiting for my receivers to get open. I see a small window to Austin, who's quickly becoming my favorite target on the field. Red zone shenanigans. As coach calls the undefeated option, I avoid one tackler and walk into the end zone. UNLV scores, making the game closer than it should be. I'm moving out to my right, breaking what would be a huge loss. My receivers are super covered, so I take what I can, but still moving the chains. And it seems as if this is going to be a trend. UNLV secondary has us covered like hawks, which means I have to take off as I go down for 18 yards on the scramble. 1st and 10 from the 40, I gotta let my receivers get to the open space, fanning out to my left. I find Hunter for a major gain all the way down to the 1-yard line. After some terrible run calls, coach lets me put it in the air on 2nd and goal, and I throw a stinger to Caden, who holds on to the ball for another score. Back on the field, and I want more. As the UNLV secondary is strapping up, I'm taking what they give me as I run out of bounds after gaining 28 yards. Next play, my receivers can't get room to breathe again, and I just take what they give me, which is another 1st down. 3rd and 7, coach wanted me to take some time off the clock, but UNLV sends pressure, and I'm off to the races, evading tackles, swerving my way into the end zone to cap off this huge game for me and the team. This game goes down in the history books as I managed to pass for 213 yards and rush for 203 yards and 5 total touchdowns. Now, once I heard those stats, I had to check in on what my total was for the season, and to my surprise, I was about to break the 1,000-yard mark for passing. But what was even more surprising was that I broke into the Heisman race after that performance. And it gets better from there because New Mexico wasn't the caliber of school that would usually see a player on this list. So the national media attention I started to receive was crazy. I mean, I was doing interviews from everywhere. People were really looking me up to do so many interviews. It started to affect my practice. I mean, the pressure of doing well in school, team meetings, interviews, people telling me I needed to get an agent. It was a lot. My main focus was trying to make sure I didn't lose this spot on the Heisman race. But most importantly, I wanted to make sure this season was the best it could be. But if I'm being honest, I have to say the attention for my work was great. I enjoyed it a little too much, but I needed to get back to work because this season was far from over. So boom, next game against Colorado State, they're already up by a score. With my name now being on the Heisman list, there was a huge target on my back, especially coming out of New Mexico. I was on everyone's hit list. Now on 3rd and 18, I take advantage of their over-aggression and scoop for 20 yards, giving us the 1st down. 2nd and 8, I'm not looking to pass. These goofies want to talk. I'm going to give them something to talk about. as I march down the field for 26 yards, and I'm not sliding. 2nd and 3 from the 4-yard line. Coach calls the option play, and I'm running over 2 defenders to score our first points. Defense can't stop Colorado State, so it's up to me to lead this team as I throw to a wide open Austin for a 43-yard reception. 2nd and goal. Coach wants me to put it up, but I'm not seeing anything, so I roll out to my left, head for the end zone as I break the school rushing touchdown record, as this is my 20th rushing touchdown of the season, and we have a lot more season left to play. Tie game, and these are the games that are going to make me a better player as I find Caleb for 15 yards on 2nd and 4. 4th and 9, I see something I like from the previous play rolling out to my right. I wait for Caleb as he gets more yards after the catch. 1st and 10 from the 15-yard line. It's the Caleb Medford show as he finds an opening, and I squeeze a tight pass in for a touchdown, putting us up a score. Defense comes through, gets us great field position, and as the clock runs out on the option play, I embarrass Colorado State player with a spin to put the icing on the game. 186 yards in the air and 72 yards on the ground, with the game total with 4 touchdowns is how we win this one. Next game against Boise State, I've already thrown 1 pick, but on 3rd and 7, I'm buying some time and use all my strength, and I throw a perfect pass to my running back Christian for a 52-yard touchdown. Now back on the field, defense holds us down, so now it's my turn. Option play got Boise State lost, and I'm breaking free for a huge rush, putting us right back on the board. My bad defense, I didn't give y'all enough time to rest. I'm just in my zone right now, which would be proven as defense gives up 6. And on 3rd and 2, the option play is good for 16 yards in the first. 4th and 6, coach is letting me gamble as I immediately move left out of the pocket. The player I'm looking for is jammed up, and I take off. It's a foot race all the way to the end zone for 29 yards. So apparently I'm not giving the defense enough of a break because Boise State is scoring repeatedly. 2nd and 10, I air one out to Caden, who comes down with it and scores for a crazy tutty. Defense gets a stop, and now we can sit back and play comfortably as I throw a steamer to Luke for 18 yards. 2nd and 10, I'm not looking to throw, can't lie. The left side of the field is too open, and I'm off to the races. Weaving in and out of traffic, I go off for 40 yards and a tutty. Bad things happen to good people, though. I've thrown some picks in this game, and the score is tied. Because I'm the one that got us into this, I need to be the one to get us out. Rushing for 32 yards to start the drive is not a bad way to do it. 26 seconds left in the game. I'm just looking to get the first and get out of bounds every play. Putting the ball in the air was a little too risky for me, considering I've thrown like 3 picks already. And with 4 seconds left to go in the game, kicker comes out and wins the game for us. I threw for 195 yards, rushed for 245 yards that game. I was super tired from the effort, but I know I was the reason we almost lost this game. And like I said, after that performance, I was super tired. One thing that was becoming an issue with me personally and the media was my age. Now, as you guys know, I spent my technical, quote-unquote, college years serving in the Army. I came in as a 22-year-old freshman. I'm 23 now, and my 24th birthday is on the way. When I tell you my body was taking damage, it was taking damage. To my surprise, after that game against Boise State and the amount of times I gave the ball away, I was now at the top of the charts for Heisman. I couldn't believe it. I was in first place, which came with a lot of criticism from the press. And boy, did they have a lot to say.
Let's talk about this kid out of New Mexico that has the Heisman pose in shambles right now. Steven, you go first. You look like you itching to get something off your chest.
First of all, let's call him what he is. And that's a grown man. Now, let's not get this confused with the term of endearment. No, this is pure unadulterated slander from Stephen A. Smith. You have a 23-year-old man playing up against babies, and it's not fair. He is at least 3 years older than the oldest player on your team and 5 years older than your youngest. What are we talking about? Heisman? He should be winning the Senior Citizen Award. He is currently in his prime at the NFL level, and he's playing college football. Not to mention, he has 1 more year left to play before he's eligible for the NFL. Whoa, what are we talking about? Surely not the Heisman. Now, I'm not one to discriminate on any level, and not for age, surely. But at some point, we have to be real. If we don't talk about it now, then it'll be next season. If he's in the Heisman, talk again. We definitely gonna have to talk about it if he decides to throw his hat in the ring for the NFL draft. well. And I sure hope he doesn't do that. You know what? At this point, I take it all back. Let him have his time to shine, because there is no future for Corey Sheppard at the next level. And he'll be a nice backup for years. Hell, he'll even be a good coach. And I'll close by saying this. Secure your future now with NIL deals. Make your money. Stay all 4 years and call it a day, because there won't be a moment after this. And that's all I have to say about that. But congratulations, brother. You earned it.
It was time for the Mountain West Championship, and we were facing a 10-2 San Jose State team that was ready to dethrone me. But on 2nd and 7, I showed them why I was at the top of the Heisman list and why I was dead set on winning it, going off for 72 yards for a tutty. Defense let San Jose score 9 points, which means we're behind and I need to step it up. 3rd and 7, I find my tight end streaking down the middle of the field for 64 yards, putting us in the red zone. 3rd and goal, I know I need to get into the end zone, so I take off left and find some room to squeeze in to put us back up. Not only that, but I'm breaking Barry Sanders' rushing touchdown record with 38 rushing touchdowns in one season. Nevertheless, the score is 15-15 right now, and we got to get some separation as I run out of bounds after a 23-yard gain. Very next play, as I was about to take off, I see Austin wide open and I throw across my body for another 23-yard gain. Play after that, I'm looking through my rotation and I find Caleb, who steps in front of a defender for a 14-yard gain. Closer to the end zone, coach gives the ball off to our running back, who walks into the end zone. Defense allows San Jose to tie the game up again, which gives us the ball for the final drive. I know it's my time. Just like on our first play, Caleb finds himself wide open again, this time for 60 yards, getting stopped short of scoring a huge touchdown. I call the offense back to the line because I know I'm taking off right for the end zone, and that's exactly what I do to put us up a score. Defense holds us down, and looking in the defense's eyes, I can see they tired, and we only need to run the clock out. But the lane that opens up for me, I have to take advantage as I put the nail in the coffin to win this conference championship game. To say I was excited would be an understatement, considering how I came into this job and not getting a full season shot at winning this was a drastic turnaround for my career and for this team. I finished that game with 274 yards passing and 198 yards on the ground with 4 total touchdowns. Standing there with the coaches and the rest of the team made me proud to know that I carried these guys on my back. We did it together. Needless to say, I was setting the stage for a tough bowl game. But before that, it was time to announce the Heisman winner, and guess who won? That's right, Corey Sheppard, sophomore out of New Mexico. Man, who would have thought these words would ever come out of my mouth, or that those words would have been said about me, period. Either way, my excitement was short-lived because now we had a bowl game to prepare for, and the team we have to face was one of them teams. And that team was Oregon. Although they were 6-6 on the season, their players were still high caliber players nonetheless. And on 2nd and 13, I'm doing the exact thing that got us here, rushing for 28 yards to get the team going. 2nd and 7, I'm rolling out left, hitting Jace for an easy 15-yard pickup. Coach calls a triple option on 1st and 10. I keep it, and I finally get stopped after gaining a first down. 1st and goal, offensive line opens a huge hole for the running back, and we strike first in this bowl game. Defense goes out and gets a score, but they also got scored on, putting us up by a score. Now it's time for the offense to go to work. 1st and 10, I march down for a quick 12-yard gain to keep the drive moving. 2nd and 10, I let the play develop before I make a move. I connect with Jace across the middle of the field for 22 yards. Next play, the middle of the field is open again, dotting up Caleb, and the boys are locked in. 2nd and 3rd, coach sends 5 wide, and I'm buying some time. Going through my rotation, I see Austin wide open in the end zone. I zip one there, he holds on to the ball, and we're up 2 scores. 3rd and 6, Oregon can't score on us, but I'm not trying to let up. I make their defense suffer after going for 20 yards. At this point in the game, we're trying to waste as much time as possible, but if we score, we score. I'm rolling out to my left. I find Luke Longley on the right side of the field. I throw a bomb and Luke has to dive for it, but comes down with it for 43 yards. 3rd and goal, I'm about to make the play of the year. As we're 20 yards back, I roll out to my right, weave in and out. No one can touch me, and I put more points on the board. And no, I was not done, because I come out the very next drive. From the 25-yard line, I'm gone. My eyes are dead set on the end zone, and no matter how many guys are around, I'm out of here. Crazy 75-yard touchdown run. Needless to say, that was game. A walk-on, second-year starter leads this New Mexico team to not only a conference win, but a bowl win. Today's game, I threw for 150 yards and ran for 204 yards with 3 total touchdowns. Man, a bowl game victory is a great way to top off my first year as a complete starter for this team. A Heisman win was even better personally. And with everyone in my ear about what I was going to do next season, I had a lot to think about. Do I stay or do I go? Deep down, I felt as if I've proven what I needed to prove here. There are much tougher conferences out there, and because of my age, I felt like I needed to prove I could hang with the talent that was coming out that next season with me. I don't know. It was a lot to think about, but for right now, I'm going to enjoy this off season as much as possible. The transfer portal was open and it was time for me to make my decision on what college I needed to go to and really prove that I was the best to do it, no matter what the age or any of that. To my surprise, I had gotten some calls from some teams and they were throwing a bag at me. Winning the Heisman last year definitely helped me with the age thing, but for the most part, teams were looking to win a national championship and they knew I could get it done. But if you remember, the goal was to go to a tough conference where my dominance couldn't be questioned. The first conference on my mind was the SEC. Now, I had gotten contacted by plenty of schools, but the one that caught my eye was Georgia. I caught this flight and I'm headed to speak with the coaches now. Wish me luck.
Corey, it's great to have you here. Winning that Heisman at New Mexico is really your calling card, and I'm just going to come right out and say it. We want you. No Diddy, of course.
I'm happy to be here. I'm excited for this opportunity.
That's good to hear, son. Now, there was someone I wanted you to meet before we get going. Corey, Kendall, Corey.
What's good, bro?
Now, you two are going to be the driving forces for this offense. Kendall is our star running back, and I need you two to get to know each other on and off the field because we're depending on you two to dominate this SEC this season.
That's cool with me.
Awesome. Now, Kendall here is going to be getting about 25 to 30 touches a game.
What?
We believe in our running game, and having you as a second force on this offense is going to make us unstoppable.
Okay.
Right. So I'll leave you two to the formalities and whatnot, and I'll be right back with you guys.
Look, bruh, I'm gonna keep this short and simple. You stole the Heisman from me last year, and now that you're here, it's an even playing field.
What?
Just make sure you give me the ball as much as possible. Dump downs, I need that. Deep balls, I need those. That plus the 30 touches I'm getting per game, there's no way I don't win Heisman.
You got it, bro.
Yeah, I know, nigga.
So as you can see, there are already red flags, but honestly, that makes me want to be here even more. This season was about to be a roller coaster. Let's get into it though. First game of the season, Coach held true to what he was saying about the run game. Our first 2 plays of the opening drive were run plays, and that's to be expected, but that interaction with Kendall prior to the season, I thought bro was gonna go crazy. Instead, he only gave us 6 yards those first 2 plays. Even on the next drive, Coach was really pushing for us to run the ball, but it just wasn't producing the way I thought it should with all the talk. Even on third down, we're running the ball. I didn't pitch it because I didn't want to turn the ball over, but Kendall was still upset for not getting the opportunity, and he let me know quickly on the sideline. But at my big age, I'm over this high school drama shit because clearly bro not who he thinks he is. I finally get to do some damage late in the second quarter, and on 1st and 10, I roll out to the right and find Brock tiptoeing to make the catch for 23 yards. Next play, I roll to the opposite side and find Brock again for 33 yards. I think I found my go-to receiver. But of course, as soon as I get going, Coach tries to run the ball, and Kendall not only gets smacked once, but on 2nd down, he loses even more yards. 3rd and 14, bro. And I guess I'm the one who has to get us out of this hole as I scramble for 14 yards. I don't pick up the first. I bring the team right back to the line though. Find Brock underneath, who gets us all the way down to the 1-yard line. No hating, but luckily Kendall wasn't in the game as Coach runs the ball and we're finally on the scoreboard. Defense folds and I'm back on the field, and Coach gives me a great play call. I roll to my my right, buying some time, and look who's wide open down the field who cashes in a 73-yard touchdown. Bro, just looking at this makes me happy to know where I came from, not being able to throw that far even if I had to. Defense gives us incredible field position. I got us down to the 1, and on a slant, I fire one into Marcus, putting us up 2 scores. Back out on the field, Clemson puts up a score, and this game is too close. And to make matters worse, coach is back to the run game as Kendall gets absolutely destroyed and fumbles the ball on our own 35-yard line. Clemson ties the game up, and now we have to score. And then the ball off to Kendall, and to my surprise, this goofy actually picks up some yards. Very next play, I'm moving to my left, find a Dominic for a 27-yard pickup. 3rd and 3, coach gives it to Kendall, and of course he goes nowhere, which sends the kicking team out, putting us up by 3. Defense has to come through to secure this win, and with 30 seconds left in the game, the defense picks a pass to put the nail in the coffin. Huge opening win as the number 1 team in the nation against number 9 Clemson, and I finished the game with 187 yards and 3 total touchdowns. Our first home game against South Carolina, and the trash can starts early on 1st and 10. He gets stopped in the backfield. 2nd down, he gets stopped in the backfield again. 3rd and 14, coach calls a screenplay, and it goes nowhere. At this point, I'm lost because I could have sworn our offense was going to be nothing short of amazing. But no worries, as I come through, dotting up Marcus for 25 yards. Coach lets me throw again. This time I'm patient, and I find Brock for a simple 25 yards. And then all my hard work is ruined as coach calls the same run play for Kendall, who can't score a touchdown if it was handed to him. But I'm not going to get on him too much. On 1st and 10 though, I'm finding my way out of the pocket for a gain of 23 yards. On 3rd and 4, I find Kendall on the drop down, who tried his best to get into the end zone, but was stopped at the 1-yard line. The play after that, Kendall finally walks into the end zone. We went for 2 and got it, and that was the end of the game. I didn't do too much that game, only passed for 82 yards and rushed for 137. Coach really stuck to the run game this time, and it showed. His next game against North Texas, and we're now ranked number 2 in the nation, and coach of course started the opening drive with all runs. And now on 3rd and 5, I find Kendall, who actually starts to show some signs of life and goes down after a 24-yard gain. Kendall gets us down to the 2-yard line when coach calls a pass and play, and I take the opportunity to show coach who the real runner is on this team as I score the opening touchdown. Back out on the field after Kendall has ran nowhere on 3rd and 7. North Texas leaves Brock wide open, who breaks a tackle and is finally stopped after picking up 53 yards. Coach has to see that I'm the real playmaker out here for this team, because on 3rd and 5, I'm dotting up my tight end, Dylan Bell, for a touchdown, putting us up 2 scores. But when I tell you I'm really him, I have the tape to back it up. On 2nd and 25, I roll out to my right. Defense cheats up, leaving Marcus wide open down the field. I make the throw, and the rest is history. And as we should have, we blew these guys out, with me throwing for 270 yards in the air and 3 total touchdowns. Top 25 game against LSU today, and coach is still going crazy with the run plays. Like, I would really show you all of them, but I don't want to bore myself. But ironically, I go for 22 yards on the scramble. From the 17-yard line, I can smell the end zone as I have my eye on one target, and that's Brock, as he finds room on the right side of the field all alone, scoring a 17-yard touchdown. Defense gets us a stop, and I'm back on my mission, starting to drive off, hitting my favorite target, Brock, for an easy 1st down. Next play, coach calls slants, and I buy some time and find Ladd for a 15-yard gain. 2nd and 3, I'm finding Brock for another 16-yard gain through the air, really trying to show coach the ball only moves when I'm in control. 2nd and 8, I think my age is catching up to me as I scramble right. I see the end zone, but I get tackled from behind right before I can celebrate. 2nd and goal, I try to regain that feeling and take off to the right. Again, this time the end zone is not too far away, and I score. Right back out on the field, and thanks to the defense, we have a chance to go about 2 scores before half as I'm taking off for a 15-yard rush. Run game is working great as we lose 3 yards. So I do what I need to do, make sure we get those yards back and some on a crazy 27-yard scramble. Very next play, I buy some time, find Brock streaking up the field. He breaks 2 tackles after the catch and scores a tutty. Now, unfortunately, after that, coach really just ran the ball, running the clock out, and somehow we ended up giving LSU the lead. So here I am back out on the field trying to save us from losing this game. After that spectacular pitch and catch, I'm going for the home run as I see a lot of green in front of me, making LSU players look dumb until I'm brought down at the 1-yard line. Big 37-yard rush for me, and from the 1-yard line with the clock winding down, coach lets me be great as I dot up my guy Ra Thomas for the game-winning tutty. I couldn't do nothing but think if we hadn't wasted a quarter and a half running the ball, it wouldn't have had to come down to that. But I'll take the dub and being the hero of the night, throwing for 202 yards, rushing for 158 and 4 total touchdowns. Another SEC game against Tennessee, and the trend is Coach lets Kendall run us into a hole. Then I'm supposed to save us on 3rd and 12. I drop back, not really seeing anything, rolling to my left and picking up 23 yards. 3rd and 4, I'm on the same thing, this time rolling to my right and getting the first before stepping out of bounds. 3rd and 8, I get my chance again. This time I buy some time, moving around outside of the pocket, and I dump it down to Ladd, who picks up 25 after the catch. And if you haven't noticed, the trend right now is basically I get to be the playmaker every 3rd down, and unfortunately Coach wants me to give it to Kendall on the screen. That of course goes nowhere, but I call the team right back to the line to run the same play, but this time I keep it. I run away from the screen and I score. Y'all know Kendall had a lot to say about that on the sideline, but I didn't care. I had to put the points up. Back out on the field, and it's 3rd and 2. Time to save the day again. Coach calls the option, but I'm keeping the ball to make sure we pick up the first down. 1st and 10, coach is realizing I'm him and calls a throwing play, but no one is in position to catch the pass, so I'm putting my head down. No, I'm not sliding. I'm getting the first and whatever comes with it. In that moment, all I'm thinking is we're the number 2 team in the nation. Our points need to reflect that, as I'm forced to give the ball to Kendall for the first down. And here we go again. On 3rd and 2, coach calls a pass play, and I easily find Brock for another score. Tennessee gotta know that I'm that guy by now, because with 26 seconds left before half, I really get it to my bag. On 1st down, rolling out, finding Brock, who tiptoes to catch a 24-yard pass. Next play, I hit Brock on the same route, this time for 21 yards. Next play, my guys are pretty much covered, and I don't waste too much time for a play to develop, so I scoop for 9, getting out of bounds to stop the clock. Next play, rolling to my left, finding Dominic for 11 yards before he gets out of bounds. 6 seconds left, and coach calls out the kicking team, and we put ourselves up by 10 going into halftime. Coming back from half, coach said let's focus on the passing game to start the second half, and I was geeked, because now is my time. Opening drive, I find Brock for 25. Next play, I roll to my left, find my guy Ladd for an easy pickup. Play after that, I don't see anything I like, and I scramble for 11 yards, moving us closer to the promised land. Coach let Kendall be trash, and here I am on 3rd and goal. Looking to my right, and I see enough room to sneak in for a tutty. Back to it, coach wants another touchdown, and who am I to say no? I'm rolling out, letting my guys make plays, and I hit Dominic for a 25-yard gain. Kendall got us a 2nd and 13 with his great running skills, and I'm looking at Brock's slide past defenders, and I reward him with a 22-yard steamer. 1st and 10, Tennessee sends a blitz, so I'm moving right and dump one down to Brock for a 5-yard pickup. 2nd and goal, Kendall couldn't get it done, so it's my turn as I'm moving to my right, waiting for Delp to get open. As soon as he does, I throw a strike and put us back up on the scoreboard. Coach said he wanted another one, so here we go. Rolling to my right, waiting for someone to come through. I find Marcus for 14 yards. 2nd and 10, a little play action, and I see the pressure, so I work my way through it, taking off for 32 yards. 1st and goal, all my receivers are in man coverage, which means I'm free to walk right into the end zone, and this was a little overkill. I think coach had a little personal matter to settle with Tennessee, because this was a slaughter. I finished the game with 232 passing yards, 160 yards running, and 5 total tutties. You would think after last week's performance that coach would let me cook, but here we are on 3rd and 5. He calls a screenplay, and the only way to make this work is if I drop all the way back so Marcus can pick up 18 yards. 2nd and 6, I'm sitting in the pocket waiting on Brock to get open, and he does as he picks up 19 yards. 1st and 10, coach calls slants, and I can tell by the way my receivers are being pressed, it's man coverage, so I make up in my mind that I'm taking this one to the crib before the snap, and that's exactly what I do. Back out on the field, defense only gives up 3. I'm buying some time finding Marcus for a 21-yard pickup. Kendall couldn't do nothing with it, so on 3rd and 10, I'm saving the day as I connect with Brock yet again for 36 yards. 2nd and 9, this is where all my trash talking comes to bite me in the ass. I'm rolling to my right, and I see nothing but field in front of me. I'm thinking score, but the defensive player pops the ball right from my hands as I fumble on the 4-yard line, bro. Major mistake on my part. I'm really pissed I did that, so from here on out, I'm locked in. Previous drive, I could only get 3. As you can see, we're on the 8-yard line. Coach said read option. I'm keeping it and fighting my way into the end zone. 35 seconds left before half. I'm rolling to my left. I throw one up to Brock, who comes down with it and scores a 74-yard tutty. Missouri puts up some points, but I'm still pissed about that fumble, so I turn on the Jets right out the gate, and I'll slide on this one. 2nd and 5, I'm trying to score with all this room in front of me. I'm not thinking about sliding, but the defense crashes those plans after 28 yards. Coach unfortunately gives the ball to Kendall, and he finally scores a touchdown off off my hard work. Here is where I'm really pissed off because coach literally ran the ball the rest of that game, which gave Missouri time to catch up, and somehow we're in overtime. You can't make this shit up, bro. Opening play, I dumped down the lad for a first down. First and goal, coach calls the read, and I'm keeping it, scoring the first tutty in OT. Missouri puts up their points, and it's back on me. 3rd and 4. Brock is wide open. I put it where he can get it, taking us down to the 3-yard line. Coach calls the slants. I dump it down to Brock, who fights for the score. I'm knowing we need a score right now. On 2nd and 3rd, Brock destroys his defenders. I dot him up at the very last second, and he's in again. Coach says go for 2, and I throw one of the tightest passes ever as I see Marcus in the back of the end zone, and it's a strike. Missouri couldn't answer back, and that's game. I threw for 289 yards and rushed for 206 with 6 total touchdowns. I'm starting to feel like my old Heisman self again. Speaking of feeling like my old Heisman self again, guess who's on the Heisman board again? And guess who's not on it? Look, bro just gotta understand that I'm the better player. He had his opportunities. I mean, if you're getting more touches than yards, whose fault is that? I'm just doing my job. I want a national championship, and that's all I'm worried about. Now, going back to back for the Heisman win won't hurt either, but I'm not tripping. I just think it's funny how all this shit played out. This next game against Vanderbilt was a run-heavy game, but I still put up some numbers. On 2nd and 10, I see Brock streaking down the field, and I lob one up to him for a 37-yard gain. 2nd and goal, I'm not seeing anything I trust, so I roll to my right and find my way into the end zone. 2nd and 1, I'm sitting in the pocket all day. Finally, I roll out and hit Brock for a 15-yard pickup. 2nd and 3, the play coach drew up had everyone on the right side of the field, so I immediately roll out to my left and scramble for another tutty. That was a nice little game, nothing too serious. Now we got number 5 Florida in an SEC game, so you know I got to ball out when given the opportunity. First play, I'm moving to my right and I find Brock, who has to tiptoe to pick up 12 yards. Next play, I'm sitting in the pocket and no one found room yet, so I buy some time. Finally, seeing Marcus throwing across my body, getting there first. Next play is a play action, and no way is my guy Dominic wide open. I toss him one, and that's a 40-yard touchdown on our opening drive. Back out on the field, coach wants a screenplay for Kendall, but I'm not going for it. I hear the DBs yell, "Screen!" and I look downfield as they come back, leaving Dominic wide open yet again, cashing in a 35-yard tutty. Listen, we slutted out Florida, and that was game. Beating our rivals, and they were a top 5 school. Spirits were high for us. After that game against Florida, we back in that number 1 spot against Auburn, and I'm trying to dog any team matched up against us to keep it. 2nd and 10, coach calls a quick 10-yard drop, and Ladd not only catches the ball, he breaks the tackle and turns upfield before being stopped after gaining 71 yards. 1st and goal, coach calls the read, and I'm keeping it, swerving my way into the end zone. Back out on the field, it's 2nd and 6. I see Dylan underneath, who turns a dump down into an 18-yard pickup. Next play, I'm sitting back, I see Brock has beat his man, and I air one out. Brock comes down with it, and it is stopped at the 1-yard line. From there, coach calls the sweep for Kendall, who walks it in. Now back from half, Auburn put up some points, and this game is a little too close for me as Brock picks up the first on a pitch and catch. 3rd and 5, I'm not trying to end this drive here, so I get scooting, and I swerve in and out, picking up the first and a lot more. 2nd and 7, I'm on that same thing. As none of my guys are open, I move to my right, and I'm back in for a tutty. Coach, not satisfied with the lead, sends me out on 3rd and 2 to get the first, and I find Marcus for a bit more. Further up the field on 3rd and inches, I'm doing it again, rolling to my right and getting in for a 13-yard touchdown. Big win over another rival and big numbers from me with 243 passing and 134 on the ground with 3 total touchdowns. Now this next game against Kentucky, who has a surprisingly good record, was sickening. I'm starting off the game rolling out, hitting Delp for 15. Right after that, I roll out again. This time I see Ladd downfield beating his man for a crazy 56-yard pickup. From there, it's an easy pitch to Brock for a 5-yard tutty. 3rd and 8, you know I'm picking on the right side of the field, finding Brock being double teamed for a 22-yard gain. 2nd and 5, I'm moving to my left, hitting Dominic, who turns upfield for a 25-yard gain. 4th and goal, I'm not seeing anything I like, rolling to my right, getting upfield and fighting my way in. 2nd and 18, thanks to Kendall, I'm going to get us out of this hole as I'm scrambling to my right, working my way down to the 41-yard line. 2nd and 3, I see Brock again, who fights his way down to the 4-yard line. 1st and goal, coach wants me to get it in, so I'm not really seeing anything I like, so I use my legs, getting us another tutty. I'm not even going to bore y'all, so let's keep it pushing. 1st and 10, I throw one to Marcus for a 17-yard touchdown. 1st and 10, I see Brock beating his defender, I dot him him up for 24 yards. Tutty. And that touchdown actually broke the record for most touchdown receptions in a season. Now that was a brutal game. I'm just as glad it's over as Kentucky is, but I threw for 328 yards and 5 total touchdowns. Now this is the last game of the regular season and it's against Georgia Tech. It's 3rd and 9 thanks to Kendall. But I'm surveying the field. I see Ladd with a huge lead on his man. I toss one up with all I had and he comes down with it at the 7-yard line. 2nd and goal, coach calls the read option and you know I'm keeping it for the tutty. Back out on the field, only up 7 points. I find Marcus across the middle who gets smacked, but he holds on to the ball. 4th and 1, I'm looking for Brock who is wide open on the right side of the field and he goes down after gaining 41 yards. Brock is breaking another school record for 218 yards in a game. Now on 1st and 10, coach calls the read again and I keep it and turn up the field for 12 yards. Read option again. 1st and goal, and this time I'm fighting my way in for a tutty. And that is how we went undefeated this season. And this last game of the regular season, I threw for 363 yards and 2 total touchdowns. So boom, here we are, SEC championship game, and I'm locked in. 1st and 10, rolling out, getting everybody fired up with a 15-yard scramble. 3rd and 4, I'm buying time, rolling out left. I see Brock downfield, and I dump it to him, picking up 39 yards. 3rd and 2 in the red zone, nice play action, rollout. And I see Delp scoring the first points in this championship game. Back on, and it's 3rd and 6. I wait some time before taking off in this man coverage, securing a 1st down and 24 yards. 3rd and 4, I'm throwing a steamer to Marcus for 11. Very next play, Marcus is open again across the middle of the field, picking up 18. 3rd and 4 in the red zone, I'm rolling to my left, and Marcus has a slight window, and I dot him up in the end zone, scoring again. Defense gives up a score, but special team cashes one in, and we're right back at it. I could have hit Brock, but there was too much pressure, so I take off, getting the 1st and a bit more. 4th and inches thanks to Kendall. I'm getting us out of this hole as I pitch one to a wide open Marcus who gets us 7 yards on the play. That next play, I know I'm leaning on Marcus as he's somehow wide open in the back of the end zone. I throw a steamer right to him, put us back up on the scoreboard. We ran the ball and Mississippi State has scored twice, making this a 10-point game, but I want more. I throw up a prayer and some way Kendall came down with it, keeping this drive alive. 1st and 10 from the 11-yard line, coach calls the read and I'm taking off to cap off this SEC championship game. What a freaking win. And we did it as the #1 team in college football. The boys were too lit and I was excited to be the leader of this team and the reason we won so dominantly. I finished this game with 189 yards passing and 133 yards on the ground with 4 total touchdowns. And that wasn't the only win in the book. I'm proud to say that I did go back to back as a Heisman Trophy winner. Man, from where I started to now, if you would have told me I would win a Heisman once, I would have laughed in your face. But to win it twice? Come on, bro. I'm trying not to let this get to my head, but I'm really that guy. Not only that, but I won the Robert Maxwell, the Walter Camp Award, and the Davy O'Brien Award. And you know who wasn't happy about that.
I would say congratulations, but we all know you stole that trophy from me.
How was that? You weren't even on the list.
Bitch, shut up.
Nigga didn't even win the best running back award. How you gonna win the Heisman?
Bitch ass nigga, I'll beat your ass right here.
Hey, you talking real tough, but ain't did shit yet.
Nigga, fuck you.
Yeah, alright, bitch, nigga. Look, outside of the beef, I enjoyed my time here in Georgia. I honestly have no complaints. From the fans, the boosters, the NIL money. Shit, I'm thinking about staying another year. But before we can get into all that, I got a national championship to win. National championship game, and it's against Louisville. No offense, but Louisville is crazy. I'm starting the game hitting my guy Ladd for an easy 18-yard pickup. 3rd and 11 thanks to you know who. I'm rolling out to the right, hitting Dominic for a 26-yard gain. 3rd down again, and I'm moving left. I see Marcus, who makes an incredible 19-yard catch, putting us in the red zone. 3rd and 16, bro. Like, what is this guy doing? It's okay, though, because I see Brock wide open. He catches it. and it's taken down right before the end zone. But on 1st and goal, Kendall gets the ball and literally walks into the end zone. Like, come on. Back on the field, 2nd and 5. Nobody is ready for the ball, so I get the first using my legs. Next play, I drop back and I see Brock wide open, close to the sideline for a nice gain before he steps out of bounds. I know he wanted that touchdown. 1st and 10 on the 14, and coach calls the option. And even though I could have pitched it, Kendall gets nothing from me, and I'm in the end zone for a tutty. Second and 10, we're up 14. Receivers are covered, so I'm taking off, picking up 15 yards. 1st and 10 in the red zone. Dominic flashes across the middle of the field, easy 10-yard gain. 2nd and inches from the 3-yard line, slants is the play, empty field on the left side. I take advantage of it. Lag gets open, and I dump it down to him in the end zone, making this game a potential blowout. It's 21-3, still in the first half, and we're back out on the field. I'm just doing what I do best, and that's making plays. Getting the first before being knocked out of bounds. The next play, Dominic is wide open down the field, so I toss him one for a huge pickup. 2nd and goal from the 2-yard line. I'm running this one in with one man to beat, and we're up big in this national championship game. And unfortunately for Louisville, it doesn't end there. On 2nd and 5, I see Dominic again wide open, and he makes a great catch for a 50-yard bump. From there, I give my guy some time, and I find Marcus this time, who picks up 15. It's 4th and goal. Kendall has his chances, and here I am again, this time dotting up Brock for a 17-yard tutty. Listen, if you showed up to this game, I apologize, because this was a blowout from the beginning, and what a way to cap off my junior year playing college football. Back-to-back Heisman wins, back-to-back bowl wins, and one of them being a national championship is crazy. I finished this game with 279 in the air, 131 on the ground, and 4 total touchdowns. As much work as I put in this season, I'm undeniably the best college quarterback you've ever seen. I'm really the best to ever do it. Now, will I go pro? I don't know yet. We'll have to save that question for another day. But for now, I'm enjoying the moment. Was I entering the NFL draft or not? That was the question on everyone's mind, and the funny thing was, I had no clue myself. I wasn't completely sure if my age would be a factor or not, but the only way to find out was to go ahead and see. Apparently, the first step was to get an agent, and I had no clue where to start until my favorite target, Brock Bowers, hit me up and let me know if I was interested. He would put in a word with his agent. Of course, I said yes, and that was that. First step out of the way. My coach at Georgia let me know they were having a pro day out on the field. Had to pull up for that as well. It was looking as if I was all set and headed in the right direction until my agent got back to me and let me know how the NFL scouts were feeling, and it wasn't the greatest news.
Corey, my guy, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Look, didn't want to take up too much of your time. I know you wanted me to get you this information as quickly as possible, so here we go. Most teams are hesitant to take you early. For your time at Pro Day, most teams that are interested are looking to take you in a later round.
Oh, so like round 3?
Much later.
4th round?
Nah, we talking 6th or 7th round.
Whoa.
It's not the end of the world. We still got the combine coming up. We're definitely going to get you an invite. Then we will talk to them again and see how it goes from there. In the meantime, I need you training. Eat right, sleep right, get your mind right. Get ready to put on a show for that combine.
I got you.
Hey, keep your head up, kid. We're just getting started.
So that's about all I could do, is make sure I was feeding my body the right things, getting in the gym on a consistent basis, as well as getting out on the field to work on my game. Fast forward, and the combine literally came and went. It was basic things that I felt like I crushed. And that's when I got the news I really wanted to hear.
Corey, you did it.
I did what?
You improved your draft stock.
By how much?
I'm going to assume it's around 1.5 rounds.
That's it?
Listen, Corey, we got to be realistic with this. You went from last round to 5th round. I'm impressed. I've been doing this for a long time, and usually you don't see a jump like this.
Okay, I'll trust you on this one.
And I'm glad you are, because I still have some more tricks up my sleeve, and I'm ready to work my magic.
Listen, it is what it is at this point. I'm just happy to be here.
Hold on. Say that again?
I'm just happy to be here?
Yeah, I like the sound of that. You're becoming my greatest client already. Listen, go get something good to eat. You deserve it. I'll be in touch.
Needless to say, I was lost, but he was right. I needed to be realistic and really needed to sit down and think all this through. Worst case scenario, I don't get drafted. What would I do? I don't know. That was a little too depressing to think about at this point. But let's fast forward, and my agent was indeed in contact with me. A little too much for my liking, but he was keeping me in the loop and I appreciated it. And then it came time for the night of the NFL draft, and to be honest, I was just chilling in the crib, not even worrying too much. Really looking out for my guy Brock to come across my screen. And I'm seeing all these QBs going before me, and I'm just sitting there sick to my stomach. And to my surprise, Brock was drafted by the Bears. Round 1, pick 5. I was too happy for my guy, but shortly after that, I fell asleep. I'm not sure who got drafted after that, but I knew my day wasn't coming until like Saturday. Friday had rolled around and I was out the house looking for some food when I got a call.
Corey, baby, I hope you setting down.
I am. I'm driving.
Well, you need to pull over.
Luckily, I'm at where I'm going now.
You won't believe it, but my magic worked again.
Just tell me what you got to say. I'm hungry.
The Chicago Bears are taking you next pick.
Wait, what? It's only the 3rd round.
I know. I told them if they wanted Brock at his absolute best, it would probably be a good idea to draft a quarterback that got him the ball so much in Georgia.
Nah, you lying.
No count, baby. You're a Chicago Bear. Welcome to the NFL. Need you to go ahead and hop on a plane so we can get things started.
Bruh, and that's how I found out I was going to be drafted. In the line of a fast food restaurant. It is what it is though. I was officially drafted round 3, pick 2 by the Chicago Bears, which meant I had the opportunity to become QB1 and throw to one of my favorite targets this season. Of course, me being me, I got straight to work away from the facility, continuing my bulking routine to put on some strength before reporting to camp. To be fair, camp was great for me. Coach and staff really wanted me to come out and just be me. It's not like I didn't win back-to-back Heismans, you know? I was still a great player despite my age. From my point of view, I was really a steal dropping to the 3rd round, and I'm sure Chicago will be thankful that I was available because the way I planned on changing this organization around was at the top of my list of things to do this season. Second was to make sure every team that passed on me will regret it. But enough talking, let's get into the season. First game against San Fran, and my first drive in the NFL starts with a read option that goes for 22 yards, and I'm feeling good off the rip. Right after that, coach wants it in the air. Again, I'm looking for Brock the entire time. Of course, the linebacker is there to break it up. I don't know what it was, but I just had to get that first pitch and catch between Brock and I out of the way, and I did. And it only went for 2 yards. I guess with all the pressure for us to bring the duo to Chicago and be just as successful here made me want to do it. It led to a 3 and out, which wasn't what I wanted, but it's the pros. This happens all the time, right? Well, coach wasn't too happy about the initial drive, so I had to lock in and deliver because I knew I could be on the bench after a bad drive like that again, but I end up picking up 15 yards on the option play. 2nd and 10, coach gives me a great call. I only see one safety deep and I call a quick audible that works out perfectly, connecting with Moore for a huge gain. First down from the 29-yard line. Coach wants another option play and the defense must not know who I am. My knees may be old, but I can still make a play, scooting for about 15 yards. Then the very next play, coach is looking for a pass and I'm seeing the field like I did in college as I roll to my left, fighting my way in the end zone for my first professional touchdown. And you know I had to show off just a little bit. People always say, act like you've been there before. Well, technically, I haven't been here, at least not at this level. Tying the game up was cool, but our defense couldn't do their job, and we're back looking at another read option that I'm taking down after a 9-yard gain. I'm still learning small parts of this offense, but coach did adapt it to what I was doing in Georgia, and I'm making some adjustments on 2nd and 1, waiting until the last second and dotting up my guy Patrick for an easy pickup. 3rd and 10, I'm taking my time in the pocket, trying my best to not just run off. Luckily, I found my guy for a 27-yard gain, looking to score before half. Another 3rd down, we need to convert, and I'm thinking just a quick dump down in case they send a blitz, and look who it is, Brock, wide open in the flats, picking up the first, taking us all the way down to the 4-yard line. From the 4, coach wants a pass, and listen, y'all, I'm trying my best to not be a run-first QB, but there were no options out there for me, so I had no choice but to run up the middle and score. Doing what coach wanted, tying this game up, going into half. Back from halftime, and the defense gives it up yet again, and coach wants to start our drive with my favorite, the read option. And when I tell you it works at the next level, bruh, it's crazy. Defense is looking at the running back. I keep it, find myself outrunning 2nd and 3rd level players, and I'm diving into the end zone. This is my third time here in my debut game. Of course, I'm feeling like that guy because I haven't been shown otherwise. Defense gives up 3, and we're back on the field, and I'm thinking touchdown. Read option again. This time I get stopped just as I get the first down. 2nd and 19. I'm coming off my first sack as I roll out to my right, buying time for someone to make a play. I see Patrick across the field, and I dot him up for a 14-yard gain. 3rd and 5. We need to convert here. Play action has the right side of the field empty. I hit Dalvin for a nice pickup, getting us past midfield. After 2 unsuccessful run plays, we put in the ball back in the air. I'm looking at the defense, seeing one safety back again. I make some adjustments and get one out to Patrick again for a nice gain. 2nd and 10, another passing play. I'm rolling to my left, not willing to take a dump down here. I take off. I see the end zone, juking one player, making another one miss, and the refs marked me out of bounds, but I definitely felt as if I scored there. Unfortunately, we couldn't get into the end zone from the 1-yard line, which would send this game into OT. I really think the refs got it wrong on this one, but it is what it is. I'm about to get this win a hard way as I step up into the pocket, finding my dog for a huge pickup, putting us in field goal range, which takes some pressure off of us. But coach is giving me the go ahead, and on 2nd and 10, I sit back in the pocket. Patrick has a small window, and I throw one up. He comes down with it, and that's how I won my first game in the NFL, which turned out to be my debut. And I put up some huge numbers on the ground and 266 yards in the air. This next game against the Lions, I got a little disrespectful quickly. We're starting at our own 4-yard line. I'm turning coach's play call into a read option, and thankfully I did as I get us out of dangerous territory, scooting for 21 yards. Next play, I'm sitting in a pocket, waiting for someone to get open, and right before I get popped, my guy Moore is streaking across midfield, and we connect on a 22-yard gain. 3rd and 7, I'm sitting back and I find Patrick for a first down. 2nd and 19, coming off a sack, I'm not looking to lose more yards, so I don't even wait for someone to make a play. I do it instead, picking up 13 on the play. Making 3rd down more manageable, I'm looking just to get the first, and it's Patrick again who gets injured, but not before picking up the first down. 1st and 10, I'm starting to make some connections with my wideouts, and this guy Mooney was becoming one of my favorites as he manages to get open downfield, and it's a pitch and catch for a touchdown. Detroit ties the game right back up, and on 2nd and 7, I'm connecting with Brock to pick up the first. I do feel a little guilty about not getting Brock the ball more because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here in this position. I know he wants to win above all else as I fight for a first down. I'm looking to expose the defense here as I wait for Scott to be open in the dead zone, picking up a huge gain. 3rd and 5, I'm dropping back, seeing my guys in man coverage, which is a sign I need to make a play with my feet, and I get the first down and some. 2nd and goal from the 1-yard line, I'm handing it off to Dalvin, who walks into the end zone. Now defense gives us a chance to go up by 2 scores, and I'm looking to take advantage, starting off with a run that gets us across midfield down to the 39-yard line, and I'm dancing on them boys. No diddy. 3rd and 6, Scott beats his defender by a mile, and I reward the man as he picks up a nice gain. 2nd and 10, coach is sending the guys all to the left side of the field, and I'm instantly thinking, take off, and I do. So much green in front of me, and I walk in for the tutty. Early in the 4th, on 3rd and 2, coach calls the option play that works flawlessly, and I'm sliding in like it's home base. The guys were clearly excited because it was looking like I was the Bears' savior. We scored another touchdown after that, making the score 35-18. We definitely smashed them boys, as we should have. Moving ahead in the season, we have a rivalry game against Green Bay, and the energy in the locker room was different, but different in a good way. Right after that, I'm handing the ball off to Dalvin, who picks up 16 yards on a rush. 3rd and 7, I'm making some changes from what I see from the defense, hitting my guy Patrick, who's making his return from injury. 2nd and 1, I miss like 3 reads, which means I gotta take off to avoid a loss. I'm tiptoeing down the sideline, putting us in perfect position to be the first on the scoreboard. 2nd and 13, from a terrible play by me, I'm looking to get that back and some. On the I keep the ball, and I'm fighting my way to a first down. 1st and goal from the 3rd-yard line, and it's an empty backfield, and I'm seeing Brock in a tight window, and I know he's going to catch it. I zip one to him for our first score of the game. We had an unsuccessful drive, which put us up 3, and defense is on their job, which means I can't let them down. Read option has Green Bay lost because they sent a blitz, and I'm home free for a 50-yard tutty. Great play call from coach and great execution from the guys. No way we just missed that extra point, and the defense gives us a tutty, which means I'm back at it, read option again. And at this point, what is Green Bay doing? As I find the correct hole, throwing off defenders, no one can catch me, and I'm off on a foot race for 85 yards. Another tutty with my feet, And I'm definitely going to need some ice for my knees after this. But before we can do that, coach wants two, and I pitch a tough one to Brock, who puts up 2 more. We end the game in victory formation, winning yet another game, and the feelings are high as we walk off the field undefeated 5 games in. It's looking like a miracle year from Chicago with me at the helms. But the vibes would be short-lived as we face off against one of the best defenses in the league against the Rams. Already starting behind on 2nd and 13, the pocket holds up, and I find more for a 26-yard gain. Right after that, we go for the read option that has been working all year, but I just can't seem to shake the defense. Still, it's a first down. When I tell y'all I couldn't figure this defense out, I really meant that. On 3rd and 4, I'm rolling out to my right and dump one down to Moore to barely pick up the first. 1st and 10 from the 19-yard line, I'm getting out of the pocket, avoiding the sack. I'm taking off, turning on the jets, making 2 players miss, and we're finally in the end zone with 26 seconds left in the first quarter. Listen, we've been going 3 and out damn near the entire game, and finally we're back on the field early in the third on 3rd and 10. The line is giving me plenty of time as I throw one to Patrick, who breaks a tackle to get more. Then on 3rd and 18, we find ourselves in a hole. I'm looking at Patrick, who's been saving us all game, and he somehow comes down with the ball all the way to the 9-yard line. Then from the 9, I'm not seeing anything, and I take off running and walk into the end zone, making this a game. Unfortunately, that would be the last time we scored, losing this game, and it's our first L on the season. I wasn't really sure how to handle that because that next week, we're still on the road playing the Colts. Defense has us in great field position, and I'm handing it off to Dalvin, who gets us down to the 5-yard line. So many unsuccessful plays leads us to 4th and 3. Coaches letting me take a chance, and I toss one up to Brock as I'm being sacked. Looked up, and it's a tutty. It feels good to put points on the board first this week, but the struggles continue as that would be the only time we would get close to scoring the entire game. Finally coming back in the 4th, we're looking to make something shake. 1st and 10 from the 47, I'm rolling to my right, finding Brock, who's been itching to get into the end zone since the first quarter. 3rd and inches, we're in the red zone, and finally the read option works in our favor and I score, potentially making this a 3-point game. Defense gets us a stop, and there's 2 minutes left in the game, and that's all I need. Dropping back, I give Patrick time to get open, and I dot him for a huge gain. 1st and 10 from the 47, I'm dropping back. This time I find Moore on the opposite sideline, picking up another big gain, and we're on the 16-yard line. 44 seconds left in the game, and from the 11-yard line, I see the defense is leaving DJ wide open on the streak, and I immediately throw him the ball, and with the extra point, this should put us up by 1 point. No way Indianapolis scores, right? Wrong. Somehow with that little time, the Colts get into field goal position and score, leaving us to take the L on the road yet again, and I can't lie, I'm feeling defeated. Now, you would think that taking 2 L's on the road and finally getting back home, things would turn around, but here we are in the same position we've been in, this time down 14, late in the 3rd, trying to climb our way back out. On 3rd and 10, I have to rely on my feet to get us the first. Everyone is looking a little sluggish today, and as the leader of this offense, I need to be the one to help pick us up. 2nd and 10, I'm stepping up in the pocket to make this tight throw to Mooney for a first down and some huge yardage. And like I said, the team is moving a tad bit slow today, so from the 8-yard line on the first down, I decided to take off for an 8-yard touchdown, and this should definitely help get the team excited, seeing as how this is the first time we've seen the end zone this game. Defense holds us down, and I'm trying my best to get us back in this game. On 3rd and 4, I roll to my right, and before I get smacked, I toss a prayer to Jake, who's subbing in for Brock, who's injured, and he scatters in for a touchdown. Coach wants 2 to tie this game up, and why not? I find Jake again tying this game up when we really were supposed to be losing right about now. But that energy would not last long as the defense gives up the draws and allows Texas to score, and there goes another L on the season just like that. So my problem is I don't know what to do, because as a quarterback, I should be the leader. But as a rookie, I know I had to keep my mouth shut and continue to lead by example. Back at home in front of the Chicago crowd, I was going to try and do just that. I needed to show the boys that I haven't given up, and neither should they. 3 losses on the season doesn't define who we are as a team. So it was time to get back in my bag, and on 1st and 10 from the 33-yard line, I'm dotting up Darnell for a big touchdown at home. Defense gives up the tutty but blocks the extra point, and now it's my turn, turning upfield for a 12-yard gain. 2nd and 7, keep the read option going. This time I outrun a lineman and make one guy miss, keeping the chains moving. And I keep that energy going on 2nd down from the 33. I roll to my right for a nice gain before being pushed out of bounds and letting Tampa Bay's equipment guy know to keep his hands off me. Then again, simple read option up the field. I'm about to take off, but I get chased down. I'll take the first though. I'm being patient in the pocket, letting my guy Mooney get open on the opposite side of the field, getting us in the red zone. After that, it's an easy handoff to Khalil, who walks into the end zone, and I'm starting to see a little energy from the fellas again. Great field position from the defense got me lit, and on 2nd and 1, I put my head down and take off, taking a big hit, but popping right back up, letting Tampa know I'm really all about that. Next play after that, defense is sitting that heat, so I roll to my left, avoiding the pressure, and at the last second, I throw a prayer to Patrick, who makes an insane catch for a 19-yard touchdown, putting us up by a score. Now, this is where things get dumb, because I walked off the field with 1 minute and 44 seconds left on the clock, and somehow the defense allows Tampa to score. Not only that, but I'm marching us down the field in the air and with my feet all the way to the 20-yard line, thinking coach is going to kick the field goal, and we walk out of here with a win. But to my surprise, our kicker is just as mediocre as our defense. But it's okay. I was made for this. All those years in the Army, I'm built for high pressure situations. Dropping back, buying my time, hitting Patrick for a huge gain. 2nd and 10, I'm rolling to my right, and I see Mooney up the field wide open. Back of the end zone, he drags his feet for the game-winning tutty. What a huge heads-up play from Mooney for that. And after what seemed like an eternity, we win the game. Now we got a game against the Jags, and this is a great opportunity for us to go on a win streak before the playoffs. Starting the game off dotting up Mooney, who's really becoming a breakout talent for us as a wide receiver. 2nd and 10, I break one off on the left side, picking up the first down. 3rd and 10, we need a first down, but the pressure breaks through the line. I'm on the run, and I see Patrick just standing there, wide open for a touchdown. I love when my wideouts make plays for me, and I love when the defense does their job, so I get right back to work. 2nd and 10, finding Mooney wide open. Let's get to work. Next play, I see Mooney has a step on the zone, and he gets us down to the 8-yard line. 3rd and goal, there's nothing left to do but let Khalil walk into the end zone. The Jags put up a good fight there, but it just wasn't enough. Defense gets another great stop, and we're back to work. And guess who? My guy Patrick has about 3 steps on his defender, picking up big yards. 3rd and 11, pressure is coming my way, and I throw the ball from what would have been a big sack for loss. Instead, Scott comes down with the ball, getting us a first down. Right after that, from the 10-yard line, I see DJ has a little bit too much cushion, and I throw a fast one to him, and we're back on the boards, and that's back-to-back wins for the Bears. If this doesn't get the team fired up for the rest of the season, I don't know what will. Luckily for me, we would continue to win the rest of that season, barely. But we do sneak into the playoffs, where we would have a tough game against Dallas for the wild card. Now, Dallas strikes first, and this is a playoff game, and I'm not ready to go home just yet. First play, I throw a strike to Mooney, who gets fired on but holds on to the ball. Next play, I'm taking my time, stepping up in the pocket, but nothing's there, so I take off for the first down. Then we run the read option. I keep it running down the sideline, not trying to lose this ball. I step out of bounds. Immediately after that, I see they playing off of Mooney again, and I throw a dart right to him for the tutty. All I know is during this playoff run, we have to match the energy of our opponent, or we will lose. Defense gets a safety, putting up 2, and I know I need to capitalize on this. So as the pocket closes on me, I get the first down. Scoring before half will put Dallas in a tough spot, and I'm definitely trying to make them uncomfortable. So I'm using my legs to dominate this game. Empty backfield, and I see Moore beating his man off the press. Wait until he's open, dot him up for 15 yards. Empty backfield from the 5, and I see Dallas is in man coverage, which means I'm free to roll to my right and walk into the end zone, making this a 2-score game before half. All this means is we need to come out in the second half and do more damage. And to my surprise, defense does that. And on 3rd and 6, it's man coverage again, and I don't trust the throw, so I do what I do best and make the defense pay with my legs as I score yet another tutty on the ground. Fast forward to the top of the 4th, we've been running the clock out, but Dallas has scored, making this a close game. I know I need to rely on more and my legs to make sure Dallas doesn't get too comfortable. 1st and 10 from the 14-yard line. These goofies are in a man spy coverage, and I'm outrunning the linebacker for another big touchdown on the ground. I'm trying to get this win by any means necessary, no matter what it takes. And that means with 2 minutes left, forcing Dallas to use all their timeouts, I'm taking off for an 11-yard gain. But we keep getting first downs, and I know I need to strike because they think it's over, but I want a bigger lead. And on the read option, I'm turning on what I have left in the tank to put us up 2 scores late in this 4th. Knowing Dallas doesn't have any timeouts, it's game over. We managed to beat these guys in their stadium to move on in the playoffs. NFC Championship game in the snow against the Vikings, and I'm ready to go to war. 3rd and 11, they thought they had us those first 2 downs, but I'm making changes at the line because I see their weakness. Throwing a dot to Mooney, who proceeds to turn on the Jets for an 88-yard touchdown to open the game. Now, if that doesn't get them shook, I don't know what will. Well, it didn't rattle them at all as they proceed to match and score again. Now we're down, and I know I need to produce. No more 3 and outs as I'm sliding for the first down. 2nd and 10, I see a couple of things that could work, but I'm using my feet for this one as I swerve in and out of traffic. Great blocks, picking up the first and some. Here we go again. From the 35-yard line, I'm making adjustments, and Moore is leaving his defenders in the dust, and I had to give it to him as he takes us all the way down to the 3-yard line. Now 4th and goal, and I'm not trying to leave without tying this game up, and coach is letting me cook. Line is giving me plenty of time. Moore makes a play in the end zone, and I throw him a dart tying this game up. That's exactly what I need from my team right now, but somehow the Vikings score in less than 30 seconds. So that means I need to match that before half. So I drop back. Then I step back up and deliver a ball to Scott, who wisely steps out of bounds to stop this clock on the game. From the 37, I'm stepping back up in the pocket, seeing Patrick in the gap of the zone, who makes a great catch, taking us to the 4-yard line. Y'all gotta know what's on my mind. From the 4, I see some possible targets, but I'm not risking it. Taking it in on my own 2 feet for the tutty. Hopefully tying this thing up before we head into the locker room. Now fast forward to the bottom of the 4th, and this is it. We're down by 4, starting from our own 1-yard line. And this is what champions are made of. From the 14, I'm dotting up Mooney for the first after a crazy hit. Then I switch to Moore, who high-key gets smacked while already out of bounds. I see what the ref's on, and they cheated. 1st and 17, after a bullshit holding call, I toss one to Mooney. Although they're in man coverage, he comes down with it. 2nd and 8. The coverage is tight, but I use my legs this time, getting us the first down. From the 12-yard line, I'm doing the exact same thing. And this time I'm met by 2 defenders, but I get down to the 3-yard line. But I'm coming right back. This time, no one is there to stop me as I put up a tutty on the board, giving us the lead with way too much time left on the clock, which would send us to OT as the Vikings tie the game right back up. I'm ending this right now as I'm making adjustments at the line. Mooney is wide open, and that's game. This is it. It's the Super Bowl, and I'm nervous. I cannot lie, but this is what we're here for, right? This is what it all comes down to, and I can't allow my nerves to shake me. I can't let this big stage be where I fail. I've come too far and have gotten way too many opportunities to lose now. Not now. And going up against this Baltimore offense, I know every time we get the ball, I need to score. On 2nd and 2, I do what I do best, and that's improvise, as I'm using my feet to pick up some big yard. Next play, I'm making the proper adjustments. Mooney has his man beat by a mile. I throw him a strike, and it's a tutty. Getting on the boards first, getting that first score out of the way, definitely got the team motivated. We gotta keep pushing. Defense holds us down, and I'm not sure how, but here we are on the 32-yard line, and I'm moving to my right, buying some time. Hitting Mooney, who makes a great catch on the sideline. Going up 2 scores in the first quarter will do wonders for our confidence. And Dalvin is locked in, picking up some tough yards on the ground, getting us into the red zone. Handing it back off to Dalvin, and he takes us down to the 1-yard line. Now from the 1-yard line, I got 3 receivers out, and it's a read option that gets us into the end zone, putting us up 2 scores early in this game. Now fast forward to the 4th quarter, and it's all tied up. We haven't been able to score, and the defense is tired. We got to put up some points. Stepping up in the pocket again, finding Scott, who gets us past midfield to the 34-yard line. 3rd and 5, I'm making some adjustments, but it doesn't matter. Defense sent the blitz, and I'm taking off, keeping this drive alive. I do not want to give Baltimore a chance to have this lead this late in this game. 2nd and 3 from the 14, and if it's not broke, we not gonna fix it. Read option works phenomenally as I walk right into the end zone, putting us up a score. But I know Baltimore has too much time left to make something shake. Defense does get the ball back for us, and on 3rd and 19, I'm buying some time in the pocket, rolling to my right, finding Scott, who makes a great catch on the sideline. 3rd and 1, and Baltimore is using their timeouts, which means I have to convert here, but all my guys are guarded, and I'm taking off. I do not want a field goal here, and luckily I do get the first. And on 2nd and 5, we could kneel the ball, but I want to make sure Baltimore has no chance of coming back, and Khalil officially etches our name on the Lombardi Trophy as he scores what would be the last touchdown of the Super Bowl, and we did it. The Chicago Bears were the Super Bowl champions, and I couldn't believe it. I won a Super Bowl my rookie season with Brock by my side. Not only that, but I won Rookie of the Year and the MVP that season. Bro, I rocked that trophy like a baby up there on that stage. I couldn't take my eyes off it. We did it, man. I would go on to play as many seasons as I could, but unfortunately the injury bug would get to me before I ever felt that feeling again. I tore my Achilles when I was 30, then turned around and tore my ACL when I was 31. And on top of that, broke my throwing arm shoulder when I was 32. And from that point on, I was never the same. I was a Chicago Bear through all that time, and I retired a Bear. And I do thank Chicago for taking a chance on me when it seemed as if no one was willing to do that. But what am I doing now? Well, I'm a head coach for a high school football team back in my hometown, hoping to inspire young men like me to give it their all, and no matter the age or circumstances, they too can accomplish great things. Well, my name is Corey Sheppard, and that's my story.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, please let us know what your verdict is.
We find the defendant, LeBrick James.
So you're probably wondering how we got here. Well,